Riley,
Amy.
how's it going?
It's go it's going good. How are you?
I'm good. You're in luck because my hair dried 1 minute ago. I was
Oh,
like 20 minutes before we were going to record. I was like, I look like a drenched rat.
really? I am in luck. So was it really the first minute right before we started recording that it
Yeah,
got
it's
dry?
a little wet, but
Oh my.
because I take our video professionalism very seriously, my
Oh yeah.
hair shouldn't be wet.
Yeah, I do as well. I really take the video professionally as well. Your hair looks great. Thank you. I mean, it always looks great. Even if it was wet, it's okay. But I get why you didn't want wet hair. And yeah, I mean, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on like a beauty moratorium right now. I could really use a haircut. I could really use some treatments, beauty and otherwise, and I'm just trying not to spend all that frivolous cash right now.
Really,
Yeah.
really. So you're
Had too
hunkering
much
down.
fun this summer, you know what I'm saying?
Really? Okay, so you're hunkering down beauty wise.
Sucks.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What when you get your that big thing of cash, what's the first beauty remedy you'll do?
I'm gonna chop this hair,
Okay.
put needles in my face.
Botox.
Um,
How much does the first one run you roughly? Not you don't have to say exactly,
Haircut
but
or
yeah.
Botox?
Well, I was
Oh.
gonna say yeah, haircut.
It's in the 100 plus range.
Okay. All right.
But I don't color my hair, so that saves me a lot. I know people want to know this.
Oh yeah, of course. And then Botox, I kind of know roughly what that costs. I mean,
Yeah, over the
expensive as
years,
hell.
it's costing me more and more as
Oh
I
my.
become a crone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, you're not a crone, but I understand. Well, hopefully, I imagine, a huge windfall of cash is coming,
Hope so.
to you very soon.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of crones, I saw that movie, The Substance, yesterday, and
is it about an old
I
crone?
loved it.
Really? Loved it.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's actually, from what I've seen, most people like it, but I think some people have mixed responses. But I went in completely blind, like, didn't know anything about it, went and saw it by myself, so I didn't even have like someone next to me to like gauge their response. So I could only go off of my reaction purely, and I had a blast.
Wow, really? So
Yeah.
fun. It's a horror movie, right?
Yeah, it's like body horror, like it's like disgusting.
Oh
I
wow.
literally gagged. I don't know
Whoa.
the last time that's happened to me, if ever. I physically gagged.
Can you please spoil for 15 seconds? Fast forward, little turtle cuties. Can you tell me what was so sick that it
Well,
made you
there's a lot
gag?
of nasty shit. The part that got me was like a phlegm thing, which like I'm
Ugh.
sensitive to. But there's
Oh,
a
the
ton of
sound
like
of it?
just like the it was like a Haktua
Oh God!
from
Was it
hell.
written? Was it written around the Hacktua from hell? It was. It was. Was it written? Do you think it was written pretty quickly after Hacktua?
It was like a crone Haktua.
Oh my God! And
You
that's
know what I'm
Demi
saying?
Moore. Does Demi? I mean, this is offensive to ask this, but is it about? It's about someone trying to get their youth back using a substance. And Demi Moore, does she?
Yeah, it's
Is
like
that?
yeah, it's like you have the opportunity. It's not really a spoiler. This is like the general outline is like there's like a treatment substance that gives you the opportunity under bad circumstances to experience being young and hot again.
Oh. Oh. What has to? Spoiler again. What has to happen? What is it?
I don't
Oh.
want to ruin it for people because I want people to see it and I
Okay.
want people to see it in theaters because
Okay.
it's very fun to because it's just outrageous. It's like it's goofy, like it's like disgusting and silly and just foul and
Oh wow.
so like there's like kind of like a set piece at the end that's just like bloody gore, like beyond belief, just like 10 out of 10 like blood.
Wow. Okay.
And I was literally just like laughing, like I like was just by myself laughing.
Oh my God. Pulling a Robert De Niro in Cape Fear. You remember that part? Was anybody else experiencing the body horror like you, laughing and gagging and?
There were some people. The thing is, I kind of blew it. I saw it at the Burbank 8 at like 4 p.m. and because I wanted to see it because I felt like it was going to be spoiled for me because my Twitter was taking over. The topic was taking over, so I was like, I'm just gonna go because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to see it till next week. And I wish that I saw it like Friday night, like somewhere fun, sold out, but there were like 10 people in there, and I let myself be reactive to try and help the, not performatively, but like I was like, I'm not gonna like muffle my response, you know.
Oh, was it to get everybody else kind of going too, if you could?
There was like people behind me that we were on the same page, but then there were some people that like weren't really reacting, and I was like, what movie are you watching?
Yeah. Oh my God. That kind of felt like, I mean, I don't want to go right in, but we had a similar experience in a movie that we saw together where I felt we were early adopters into what was the vibe. But anyway, I won't step on that.
Right into that. That was our big event this week.
Yeah, well, I think you swayed me because on the substance, just to close that chapter, I thought that maybe that wouldn't be for me, but I trust you very much, and so I don't know if I'll be able to get into the theater to see it, but now that entices me more than ever to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you really can't think about it too much. It's just pure fun. Like, I don't care to get into any like minutia of like it's pretty much just like stylish and gross and fun.
Okay, good.
That's my review.
Okay, good. I love that. I like having no expectations and then just going in there and it kind of blows your mind.
Lots of nudity if you love to ogle the female form.
Really?
Which I do.
Wow. What are they?
Margaret Qualley up and down.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Because Demi Moore, I imagine, I mean, no spoilers, but I'm just guessing that she's the finished form after you take the substance.
Yeah, like she's like the ideal.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Well, good. I'm glad that you saw a good movie because I don't want to spoil it too much. And you and I haven't really talked about it, but you and I went to the Megalopolis premiere at Mann's Chinese Theater. What day was that? Monday?
Yeah.
Monday?
It feels a long time ago.
So you and I got to get the royal treatment for once in our goddamn lives.
Yeah.
You and I got to dress up like to the nines in some of the best outfits we've ever worn. And we got to go to the premiere as part of the influencer package. Where they wanted you and I to sort of share the
Riley
IMAX.
At one point gave blood to enter the influencer package in Hollywood. It's the lowest amount of blood you could give.
Yes.
Any more, we would be doing much better.
Yes, it was very low amount, and we got there, and they treated us. I mean, what would you say the treatment was like? I mean, it was 4:30 p.m. We rolled up
there real early.
We got there really early, and they gave us the full spectrum of what we were going to witness. First of all, they said, you all get to go on the red carpet. Have you ever been on a red carpet before? And I go, no. And then you said you've kind of peeked. You've been sort of behind the scenes on red carpets a few times, so you kind of knew.
Working the carpet, not posing the carpet.
So you and I mean, it was like, I felt like fully like Hollywood royalty. We showed up 4:30 p.m. We got there and they go, Riley Hamilton, Amy, get your ass on that red carpet, and Getty Images is going to they're going to take a bunch of photos of you that you can use however you want, right? No watermarks or anything, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, did you actually go on Getty? Like, they sent you the link, right? So, like, you got to see your name, the tag, the metadata.
Yeah. I said, please, ma'am, I said, can I please, for the love of God, have those Getty images that you promised me of me and my friend Amy, because I want them so bad. And they go, sure, I guess. Here's the link. And then I clicked it, and it had the entire red carpet of all of the people that did the red carpet. So I got exclusive.
Any of them.
So I got exclusive John Voight photos.
Wow.
I got exclusive that one guy that you said is the fashion designer.
Yeah,
I got to
Jeremy Scott.
I got to see every single heavy hitter and all the stuff that they did on the red carpet. It was so fun. Some people did the thing where you're going down the fake escalator, like John Voight did. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where he goes below
I
the
like
frame.
Austin Powers.
Yeah. Jeremy Scott, that one guy, he pressed like a fake elevator button, and then he lowered himself. There was some stuff like that, and then huh?
I need to browse those because I was curious because it wasn't like a true premiere. It was like a screening. So I was curious. I think some people that were of note were just there to see the movie, not for like publicity, you know. So I want to go through the photos and see if everyone of note that we saw posed or not.
No, so they didn't, because I saw a lot of it. You and I were we were called the 4 p.m. Crowd, and so they just wanted us to sort of like get that experience, so we felt like, you know, like kind of stars for 10 minutes or whatever. But not a lot of people. I think most people sort of scurried past that.
They didn't want to be attached to this film.
Yes, I think. Oh, you're right. But yeah, you and I were posing on the red carpet. Eventually someone had to pull us off. They said you two, you know, we need to make room for other influencers or whatever. And then you and I got into the Man's Chinese Theater, and that's when you and I basically just had absolute our say to run wild at Man's Chinese Theater. You've been there a few times.
Yeah, it's a great IMAX. But yeah, my celeb radar was on high alert. We had the known director / killer John Landis in our row.
Yes. Amy whispered to me, she goes, "What's the name of that director that got those 2 actors killed on the set of Twilight Zone, the movie?" And I said, "Oh my God, I know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name." And then we both figured out that it's John Landis.
I like that I can't even think of what movie. He's like famous. Like I could think of the famous movies he's directed, but I'm like, the killer?
Yeah, I think he did Twilight Zone, the movie. And then, like, maybe he was the early Animal House guy.
Yeah.
I get him and Reitman confused.
Yeah,
and they both have sort of, I don't want to use this term, but they both have sons that entered into the entertainment industry.
It's true.
And your radar for celebrities was going off the entire time. Should we say other people that we were surrounded by?
Yeah, we saw Catherine Hahn, who presumably was there to support her girl, Aubrey Plaza.
Yes.
The comedian Reggie Watts.
That was huge. 2 rows ahead of us. And then you said to me, you go, "Look, who's eating popcorn over there?" And I go, "Oh my God, who?" And I look to my left and I go, "That's fucking John Voight."
Yeah, he was 1 row in front of us so we could watch his reaction the whole time.
He was loving it. He was loving the film. Who else did we see?
Alex Karpovsky from Girls.
Oh, right. That one was big.
Oscar from The Office.
Oh my God. I never got to see Oscar. But yeah, it was sort of definitely, you know, it was a who's who. And then you and I, we got some drinks. We got our free Diet Coke and popcorn. And then we got this exclusive, I don't know how the hell we were able to pull this off, 40 minutes of a live it was like live beamed Q&A of Francis Ford Coppola giving him a Q&A with Robert De Niro and Spike Lee.
My mom asked if we got to interview him when I sent her the photos.
Who, Francis Ford Coppola?
I suppose that's who she meant.
Yeah. It was kind of a bummer because I did think that they were going to take some questions from the audience, but instead they had a moderator, and he knew quickly that it was sort of off the rails. He couldn't contain Francis Ford Coppola or Robert De Niro or Spike Lee. At one point, Spike Lee goes, I forget what prompted it. He was like, Francis Ford Coppola, he was like, do you know anybody that's eating cats and dogs? Bringing up the sort of, that news story. And we were watching, and then they started to talk about Donald Trump. And Robert De Niro goes, "Could you imagine Donald Trump directing Megalopolis? He would ruin it." And then he could never. And then we looked at John Voight, and John Voight was so bummed out because I think, I don't know if he still is.
Selling popcorn.
Yeah, he disagrees with them politically. So we got to watch John Voight's reaction to Francis Ford Coppola and Robert De Niro and Spike Lee
Yeah.
talk about sort of current political news, which was
Yeah,
interesting.
Robert De Niro was like completely asleep at the wheel until they started talking about Trump. Then he got a little fired up, and I was like, all right, here he is.
Yeah, he was
But
fired up.
it was kind of irrelevant. I mean, I guess not irrelevant after seeing the movie. I can't really explain how or why, but it was implied.
Yeah, I think there was some stuff that related to the film, which we'll get to, but yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see De Niro and Spike Lee and Francis Ford Coppola, and then you have no idea. They didn't really give me any clue as to what Megalopolis would be like. I couldn't discern, like kind of like you said, I did not know what we were in for, and I hadn't seen one trailer. And then the lights go down. I mean, are you ready to get into the film?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about it because I cannot comprehend what I saw.
Yeah. So, I'll say stuff, and then you let me know if you thought. But the lights go down. They go, please, everybody, be quiet. And so then the lights go off, and then this movie starts. And I swear, within about 3 or 4 minutes, I was like, okay, this is really, really bad so far. And not only is it really bad, but it looks absolutely awful in every way. Like, from like every single second of it is like the worst looking frame of cinema I've ever seen in my life. So already for like 3 or 4 minutes, I was like, this is really, really bad. And the acting is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, horrendous. The dialogue is horrible. Stuff you've never heard anybody ever say in your life, and you're going, what the hell are they talking about? And it also takes place in this fictionalized, futuristic version of New York City called New Rome City. And you don't know if it's a country or a city or when it is in the future or what the hell is going on at all. And then it almost remains that way the entire time.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what that Aubrey Plaza line was about. She says something funny to
She did. I don't recall anything that she
remember
said.
she makes a little joke about it includes the word oral.
Oh yeah, there.
Is it?
That was about halfway through the film. She says, he goes,
cute.
I'm a little, he says, I'm sorry, I'm a little anal right now. And she goes, I want you to be a little oral right now. I will say, okay, so my thoughts were, this is absolutely awful. And for the first 30 minutes, no one was laughing because everyone was processing. I mean, Catherine Hahn is like, oh my God, she's like, what the fuck is going on? Alex Karpovsky's like, holy shit. And I swear, for 30 minutes, people are like, what the fuck is going on? And then it just keeps going. The entire movie is, I mean, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It is the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Do you agree? It has to be one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah, it's just unintelligible, unfortunately. I did see a lot of people on Twitter trying to celebrate its spirit.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw a lot of people celebrating the spirit of it, for sure. It was definitely giving some spirit there, I guess.
I mean, in one way, I'm like, I went in not expecting. I mean, I knew it was gonna be bad, or that's
I didn't.
what I had heard. But I was like happy to go against that. Like I wanted to like it and find something about it,
Yeah.
But it was boring.
It was so fucking
and didn't make
boring.
sense.
Yeah, it was so boring. I don't think I've seen a trailer yet still from it. The one on Instagram, it shows like 5 seconds of it, because if they show any more before or after that 5-second clip that you see, you will be like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
It cost, I mean, I looked this up. It cost $120 million. $120 million. And it's the worst looking film I've ever seen.
It never looks like they're like on Earth.
No.
Like it looks like it was just like made in a lab. Like the costumes are shitty. It looks bad.
Yeah, it looks horrendous in every way. I don't know if what is going on with Francis Ford Coppola and what needs to happen to speak to him, but the fact that this cost $120 million and no one was there to say, Francis, every single second of this movie is absolute dog shit. It is so bad. I swear that if he would have just done this like in a theater with no CGI or whatever and just filmed this and spent like $1,000 on it, it would have the exact same effect that it does him spending $120 million. All of the scenery and sets and everything he built is just absolute pure shit.
Yeah, it like at most times it looked like a fragrance ad, like in various forms. Like I was saying, it looked like, I don't know, like one of those commercials that like Austin Butler is in, or like or Adam Driver, or like where it's like Eau de Aqua or whatever.
Yes,
like,
yes,
like,
or Sauvage. I just saw there was a Sauvage. Yeah, Johnny Depp is fully back. He said I'm back, and it's for Sauvage. But it looks horrible. It really it is so bad that it's almost like if you gave Tommy Wiseau $120 million, but it's actually less entertaining by far than The Room, because I didn't even have fun mocking it and thinking this is so bad it's good, because it's so boring. And then eventually, halfway through the movie, the audience realizes, oh my God, this is not getting better. They all start laughing at it. And there are scenes where it's like heartfelt scenes where Adam Driver is going, Mayor Francis Cicero, we have to get the Megaton so that I can revisit my eyesight, Hamilton Crassus. And then people are just laughing in the theater at this horrible film. It was crazy. Walkouts, groans.
I was like worried that, because we were like right in the middle, and I was like, shit, if I have to take a certified turtle piss, I'm gonna have to climb over all these people. Like, I always get anxiety during a movie that I'm gonna like have to be, excuse me, pardon me, coming through, especially for a movie over 2 hours. Luckily, almost everybody next to me left, and I got to waltz right to the bathroom.
Major walkouts. I really don't know. Like, I mean, like you could be like ageist and be like, you know, this is what Quentin Tarantino was talking about retiring at 60 because they don't want to like ruin their filmography with films after a certain age or whatever. But I really don't think that's the excuse here. I really don't think that it's just that Francis Ford Coppola has fully lost it. There's something else going on here. And I think that they market it, or he puts that this is a fable. It's called Megalopolis, a fable. And I think that he feels like that gave him at some point like carte blanche to make just a movie that absolutely makes no sense, because you can't consider it a film or something.
Right. Yeah. No, it was wild. I saw like some people being like, Francis Ford Coppola made a Wachowski movie, and like y'all don't like appreciate it or something like that. And I was like, nah.
Anyone who, if you saw people give this 5 stars on Letterboxd, or you see anyone that is defending this, they could defend literally anything. It is so bad. And even the biggest Francis Ford Coppola defender, I absolutely love his films. The Godfather is my favorite film of all time. There is absolutely no merit to this film whatsoever. I want to know a full huge book on every single second of what happened to make $120 million absolute disaster film.
Yeah, someone needs to write that.
Yeah.
You should write it.
I would love to. I mean, oh my God, I have to ask. I mean, he has directors in his life. He has Sofia Coppola. He has Roman Coppola. Yeah. He has access to everyone in the world. And they all said, Francis, keep doing everything you're doing. Like or maybe he said, please don't give me any notes on this. I want a pure artistic expression. But
he even got his like nephew Jason Schwartzman in the mix.
Yeah. And tonally, you have no fucking clue what anybody thinks of this movie, because some people are hamming it up. I do think Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf are like doing okay under the circumstances, but they think they're in a completely different film than Adam Driver and Jon Voight. Like the tone of comedy versus pure melodramatic tension or whatever is completely off the entire time.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's absolutely horrendous. But anyway, I mean, go see it obviously, because we got invited to that premiere, but it's just, I cannot it's a sight to behold in
Yeah.
terms of how horrendous a film can be.
Yeah, I had to cleanse. I mean, it wasn't that night, but I had to cleanse this week with more Dancing with the Stars and things like that, which I only wanted to mention because it was weird. I don't even remember the football player's name because I don't know who he is. But, you know, they pan to the audience and say, like, friends of so-and-so. Like, for Phaedra this week, like, Vicky was there.
Oh.
And I forget who else. Maybe Taylor Armstrong. But they, for one of the football players, they cut to the audience and they were like, so-and-so's friends. And the person they showed was Josh Takeman.
Josh Takeman, Kristen Takeman's wonderful husband, who
Yeah,
accidentally signed up for Ashley Madison one time.
Exactly. I was like, he was wearing a fedora, and I was like, wait.
What is his we don't know what his relationship is to.
I know he has that like energy drink, E-Boost, so maybe there's a sports connection there. But I was like shaken.
That's awesome. How did he seem?
He was wearing his jaunty fedora made me feel like he's feeling great.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. You know you're in a good place when you're wearing a hat like that. I couldn't believe that Kristen and Josh survived everything they survived. When we went back and watched Roni and you see their relationship, it was one of the worst I've ever seen portrayed on any Bravo franchise. And then you find out that they lasted 10 to 15 more years, even with an Ashley Madison scandal in there.
Oh my gosh. I also just saw, I didn't double check where this was even from, but I saw a tweet that said that Catherine McPhee and David Foster, are on the RHOCs.
I saw that too.
And the quote tweet said she probably tried to sing while he was playing piano.
I saw that too. That was that makes sense to me because you know David Foster likes to serenade people on the piano. Well, that's too bad. I hope they can make it. You know what I mean? David Foster and Catherine McPhee, is that her name?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care what happens to them.
One thing that we don't have to talk about too much, but I did watch the Eric Adams press conference that happened today. Did you watch that a little bit?
No, I saw like Twitter stuff. Wait, was that before he was absconded?
What does absconded mean? Run off?
Taken?
Oh, taken. He I didn't see him be taken. I saw him he had a press conference before the prosecutors had a press conference. But honestly, it actually was giving Megalopolis a little bit this morning. Like the New York City mayor, kind of like the new Rome City mayor, Francis or whatever. It kind of had a tinge of that. And it almost made me respect Megalopolis a little more because it was like, it kind of seemed like something that would happen in Megalopolis.
I saw some tweets to that effect, like, wow, Megalopolis came out the perfect week.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. It's kind of it kind of looked like a scene if you made it look way shittier and put a bunch of gold sepia tone coloring on it. It kind of almost was like a scene out of that. But we'll get to the bottom of what happened to Eric Adams. Obviously, we don't know for sure yet.
My whole Twitter, I guess I'm a rat girl because I saw like 50 tweets being like, huge day for the rats. Like, good luck, you tried to take down the rats with your rat czar and now you're arrested. Like, peace out, bitch.
Oh my God. He was, one of his initiatives was trying to clean all the rats out of the city.
Yeah, he hired a rat czar who failed.
Really? Oh my God. Well, good for...
Speaking of New York City, the taglines have dropped.
Oh yes! Wow, that was one of your best segues I've ever heard. That's good.
For tell you them
for Roni season 15.
Phony Roni.
For Phony Roni. So Salt Lake City hasn't even put their taglines out for this season. It's currently airing, but they wanted to get ahead of it for Roni, which debuts on October 1st, and they're putting them out now for us to sort of digest for a week, right?
Oh man, that's a Tuesday.
I know.
That's
so we have
like less than a week away.
I know. Can you imagine what Thursdays are going to be like for us?
Whoa. Well, okay. I'm going to just do them in the order that Bravo has posted them, okay?
Okay. Let me see if I can guess. Just give me 1 second before, and then you can...
This one's easy for you.
Okay.
Not everyone can be Jenna fucking Lyons, but they can try.
Okay. Using Jenna Lyons. And I remember Jenna fucking Lyons was one of the things that happened last season. I think someone was like, you should embroider Jenna fucking Lyons in some of your robes or something. So
Yeah.
a callback to season 14.
Yeah, lots of callbacks. The second one is I'm not up and coming. I'm already there.
This one is Jessel, because she said Tribeca is up and coming, and Aaron said it's already there.
Yes. Okay, this one is wild. In the cocktail of life, a New Yorker is never shaken nor stirred.
Okay, I saw this one, so I'm not cheating. That is Aaron Leachy.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
She said, what? Can you repeat it again?
In the cocktail of life, a New Yorker is never shaken nor stirred.
In the cocktail of life. In the cocktail of life, one is neither shaken nor stirred. That's it?
Yep.
Did she's I guess I don't know. That one seems like they didn't know what to give Aaron, because there was no notable moment from season 14 to like honor her with.
She's from New York, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'll allow like what's Sonia's where she's the straw that stirs the drink? Does that say something like in the cocktail of life, or she just says I'm the straw that stirs the drink?
I'm the straw that, I think just that, but we'll look it up. I forget.
Okay. Oh, here you go. I may be hungry, but at least I'm not thirsty.
Damn. Sigh.
Yeah.
Who can forget how hungry Sigh was, showing
Don't
up to
remind
every
me,
single
like, I don't
event.
want that to be your thing.
I may be hungry, but at least I'm not thirsty.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay. Love looks good on me, but darling, what doesn't?
Love looks good on me, but darling, what doesn't? Uba?
Yep.
It has to be Uba.
She's in a relationship.
Is she in a relationship with that person that we learned about probably towards the end of season 14? I think he lived
like
in Connecticut
or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. They're pretty much all referential. Why date their dad when you can just be mother?
Damn. That's Bryn Whitfield. I remember that. I call back to her wanting to date Aaron's dad, I think, right?
Barely, but she made that her tagline, or they made that her tagline, like unearned last time.
And then the last one, I assume, is the new cast member, because that's...
Yes, it's just like a painting. You'll need a couple of looks to figure me out.
Just like a painting, you'll need a couple looks to figure me out. Like when you look at a painting a few times
like
to get the meaning.
Monet.
Yeah. Okay. You know, they're okay, right?
I guess I'm just like, I'm not into, since I wasn't a fan of the first season, I'm not into celebrating the first season.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, they're all right. I mean, I think some of them definitely reference their most notable thing from last season, but those moments, we weren't too excited by them. So, but also we kind of talked about it. I mean, tagline quality is so uneven. You know, it's like it's rare that we get one that absolutely blows our doors off, like the Shannon Storms one, where it's like a storm is coming.
Hatch down the doors.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you read those. It makes me sort of, worried and sad a little bit about RHONY season 15 and what we're about to witness. But,
Oh my gosh. I sent you that thing where it was like the new chick, Rebecca Minkoff, apparently tried to like coerce Jenna Lyons into doing a fake storyline where they like have a feud about who's more fashionable. And Jenna was like, no, thank you. And
why did
like, no, but like it would be funny. And she was like, no.
Wow. So Jenna admitted that there's fake storylines brewing?
Yeah. I don't know who she might have, Rebecca herself might have brought it up.
Okay.
Where she was like, I thought it would be fun. And it's like, don't confess that you're doing that.
Yeah. And then it might have flopped this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm worried. I'm really worried, but we'll see. We've got a few days and then we'll be back in the RHONY world.
Yeah. I'm just like, I mean, we'll get into Salt Lake next, but like maybe it will hit more. I'm like still waiting to get revved up for this season, but I'm just like, I'm ready for my under 42s Bravo.
I know. I think you and I both are just holding out hope for when Southern Charm, comes back, which holds us over until, well, now, I mean, it's going to be Southern Charm and Summer House, but Vanderpump Rules is going to be completely delayed.
Yes. And then I'm like, I feel like I see new shit from the Valley like every day that entices me more.
Oh, right.
We were just talking before this about Michelle did like an AMA on Instagram, and the question was like, how is co-parenting going with Jesse or whatever? And her response video was just her crying in her car for literally 30 seconds playing a song. How did it go? It was like, to hate you.
Yeah, to hate you.
To love you, or
to hate you. For me to hate you, I had to love you, or the opposite.
It's like the one that goes like, to love, to love. You guys know what we're talking about.
Of course, everyone will know that song.
But she just performatively crying for 30 entire seconds with that question floating above her head. And I'm like, this is nuts.
So co-parenting, you have to assume, is going really bad, right?
Terribly, which I would have assumed it was going better considering they were like all in Hawaii. And I feel like every time I check my Instagram, one of them is taking their daughter to Disneyland.
That's true, but I bet, not to make this a bummer, but it's probably, what's their daughter's name? Do we remember?
No.
Okay. Well, it's probably when she's like, this is so sad. I don't even want to say it, but it's probably not about that song's probably not about like she hates Jesse so much or whatever. It's probably like it's just sad to bring the their kid back and forth, which I can understand. So,
well, can't wait to see the mess and for them to have to hang out with each other's new partners and everything that will come with that.
Right.
I also found out, this is a little tea. I found out from a friend that if you're a fan of Vanderpump Rules, oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Kyle Chan. I don't know if it's all jewelry or specifically like wedding jewelry, but he said to this person that you get 20% off.
What? If you're a fan, if you go up to Kyle Chan's house and you say,
Vanderpump Rules, you can get a little discount on some jewels.
20% off?
Mm-hmm.
Do I know this friend?
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Holy shit. So if you go to Kyle Chan's house and you say, I'm a fan of Vanderpump Rules, any jewelry you want, he gives you 20% off?
Apparently. I don't know if that was like a sales tactic in the moment, or if that's the entire basis of his business.
That is amazing. Oh my God. Well, you and I should get some sort of jewelry, matching jewelry or whatever. 20% off is huge.
Yeah. I need to get I'm still rocking my Sandoval lightning bolt from BravoCon that I got as a gag, and I kind of want to change that symbol out at this point.
Has that been in your ear since BravoCon?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like almost, not quite a year, but.
Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. I was right there with you. Yeah, we should get something. Let's get something from Kyle Chan, to honor that.
For sure.
That's great. Yeah, well, so I'm sorry I'm making you hold all the cards of the news just because I didn't have any. I just had the Eric Adams news, and then
that his. I told you my entire internet is Diddy pilled. Like,
yeah,
I'm just all of a sudden my algorithm is like kind of bordering on conspiracy theory internet, and a lot of people are like, interesting that Eric Adams got indicted right after all this Diddy stuff is coming up, and people just keep posting pictures of him giving Diddy the key to the city.
Oh my God, he did?
Who knows what he did with that key?
Oh my God, he could have gone anywhere. Does it what does the key to the city look like? Kind of big?
Big.
Oh my God, oh no, he gave him the key to the city?
Imagine, he was probably running through the tunnels, all the tread tunnels. I heard that Diddy literally had a tunnel, which again, I don't know what to believe anymore, but sounds right to me.
He had a tunnel. You're right. He could access that tunnel. He could go to the Empire State Building. He could get into
The Bravo Clubhouse.
oh my God, the New York Public Library after hours. Could you imagine what he would do in there?
Reading.
Reading a bunch of stuff. Oh my God. So I went to TMZ really quick just to be like, oh my God, what big news items did we miss? It was like Eric Adams, and then it was Diddy. It was so much Diddy. It was like 50 Cent is like, let's call Diddy oil. And everybody was like, how much baby oil can one person have? And then it said, I saw it was like Costco, the CEO of Costco said, he didn't get his baby oil from us.
Oh yeah, that's what Diddy's lawyer, his immediate defense was like, a lot of people shop at these bulk stores, and that's probably why he had so much. And I was like, that's good legal thinking there, you know?
Yeah, but can I ask? So I don't know anything about it except, I'm letting the world tell me that this is very bad. I saw that Diddy he's eating meals in jail because he thought he was going to get poisoned, but they said that he's been actually eating.
I have this sneezing foster cat that will need. Well, okay.
I heard
are
a
not
little
like a normal cat that doesn't make any noise, so I don't think you can sit here, bud.
Oh, that's so sweet that Norman wants to be there. But why? I have to ask. Okay, so I get why having a bunch of baby oil, like what it could do, but why is that the most relevant slash like
I think it just points to the scale of his potential crimes, like
of how much sex was happening in the house.
Yeah, and like I've watched at this point hundreds of videos potentially, most of which I feel like there's some that are just completely outrageous that are like really entertaining your QAnon brain kind of a thing, but certainly the believable and tangible facts are that he is horrendous in every way, and that like this has been happening for like our entire lives, like there are hundreds and hundreds of victims.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, you said, was that last week or on Patreon? It's not looking good, right? For Diddy.
Once the feds come a knocking, it's not good for you. But yeah, I'm curious who will be next. Like, I don't know if like the big thing is now like he's almost certainly like the ringleader, but there might be others. But it sounds like since he's the big fish, I don't know if he'll really be able to rat anyone else out to help himself because he's like the top of the ladder. It's more like all the other people that are implicated will just have to rat more on him.
Right.
To help themselves.
Yeah. TMZ says that back in the day, he used to have naked woman buffets where you could eat like, it looked like, I'm looking at a photo now, it's like macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes.
Out of their belly button.
Yes, and it says that Owen Wilson, Will Smith, and Diana Ross used to eat off this naked woman buffet, allegedly.
Right.
So,
well, that's the big thing now is like every famous person on earth has been to his parties, but I do believe that he had all kinds of parties. Like, I don't think that just because you went to his like Labor Day party barbecue that you were like drugging people. Right.
Like the one that you and I went to, it was pretty normal for the most part. But then when we went down the stairs or whatever, that's when Owen Wilson said, get away from here. You don't want to see what's going on behind this door or whatever. And
I watched an upsetting video last night that implicated Kanye as well. Which now everyone's unearthing all these videos where like so many different people have been saying all kinds of nutty shit for so long, and we're kind of always seen as crackpots, and now it's coming together.
I'll never
all
forget.
Conspiracies do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once you get the right conspiracy yeah, you can really find out that it's true. I remember what Kenya said. I don't want to, Kanye's not he does horrible stuff,
Yeah.
awful stuff. But remember what Kenya said when she was like, I went on a date with Kanye West one time and he took me back to his home. I didn't tell you the story?
No.
She goes, he took me back to his home and it was
Kenya
like
Moore.
Kenya Moore, and she was like, he had nothing in his house except for a plastic wrapped couch and one television, and he said, "Go sit there, Kenya." And then she had to sit there, and it took a really long time. It was like 30 or 40 minutes, and so she went to go look where he was in his house, and then she said that he was up in a room and he was watching porno by himself, and he had just been making her sit there alone in the room by herself.
Well, she's lucky. Like, could have been worse.
Yeah, definitely could have been worse. So anyway, well,
we're talking about some real weirdos up in here.
Yeah. So anyway, 45 minutes, not too bad for not any Bravo news, but and maybe we'll cut some stuff out. Who knows?
At this point, I'm unafraid because everyone's talking about it. Lance Bass was talking about Diddy on Watch What Happens Live last night, saying that he told Justin Timberlake to ditch these losers and to go solo.
I mean,
which
good
worked
advice.
out for him.
Yeah, good. I mean, we don't have to.
That wasn't so damning, but
yeah, I mean, not the worst.
But they were like dogging
advice.
on it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. He was said. I saw. He said he was even meaner to me than that. He said this guy completely sucks, and he pointed right at Lance Bass, which we know is not true.
Yeah.
Right?
My door is being knocked on right now.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? Do you want to just go right into this? I would
Salt
say,
Lake.
yeah, not the best episode of Salt Lake that I've ever seen, but also I felt like there was a little spark at the end of something fun, but still not, back to peak Salt Lake. Is that how you felt?
Yeah, let me grab my notebook. I do still have a cat on my lap.
Oh, that's sweet.
Feel too bad to kick him out.
Yeah. So I'll ask you before you get your notes, just how did you feel overall about this?
Yeah, I was like kind of underwhelmed generally. I guess like I don't know if I'm like a square or what, but like I don't like Mary.
Oh yeah, no,
She bums me out. Like it's like she's just mean, and to me, it's not particularly entertaining.
No, I agree with you fully. I felt like this was Mary, where they cut a lot of just. Well, she was mean, but I found a little more humor to it because I sort of agreed with Mary when it came up against Brittany. But overall, no, I don't enjoy Mary. I think she's done awful things, and for the most part, she's really mean to people without any merit. I feel like so far this season, though, she's kind of getting an alternate edit where they're like, let's bring Mary into the forefront again, and maybe they're like cutting some stuff, but. I remember hearing at the start of this season, or right before the season, that like Mary said something really extremely offensive about Lisa's younger son. Did you hear that rumor?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, like she said, I don't even want to repeat what she said, but yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy Mary for the most part. I feel like they're kind of giving her a good edit, like a redeemable Mary edit this season so far.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one thing that we don't need to like discuss this episode, but like, does it bother you at all that Season 4 happened and it was like the end was like this pivotal, wild reveal, like a Scooby-Doo reveal where it was like, Monica is Reality Von Teese. This is going to change everything forever. And then now in Season 5, they barely ever even mention Monica, and there's no discussion at all of how she affected their friend group or what they learned from that. And now they're starting new grievances at the very start of the season and trying to basically, I don't know, like rewrite the history of this show. Like, do normal franchises, when you have a pivotal, huge thing happen in a season, does the next season just you start fresh and you barely reference it at all,
right.
like kind of like a sitcom that reboots every episode and it's not added to the canon at all? I'm just wondering why that was so impactful and powerful and we all loved it, and then now there's no repercussions for that happening in Season 4.
Right. Like Vicky had to talk about the faking cancer thing for like years.
Yes. And it was flashback
but I guess that's like so directly related to her, whereas now, since no one's friends with Monica, it's like easy to just crop her out because no one was ever friends with her in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, I guess there's that. I'm just like, it's interesting that they're just treating it like it never happened. And I feel like I was trying to think of, like this happening in Vanderpump Rules when Rachel didn't come back. She's obviously like the crux of so much shit, but Vanderpump Rules still referenced Rachel and made her like sort of a part of the story. You had
Yeah.
Tom texting her, they mentioned her. Like, I'm just wondering, for me, it would be so much more interesting to find out what the real world effect was of finding out that there was like a fan in your midst that used to be a hater that people were talking to in your friend group, and they have all this proof. Like, I really don't understand the absence of Monica, except for the fact that, yeah, you're right. Like, once she's gone, I guess she didn't have that much impact because no one really established a huge a
Right.
relationship with her.
Well, especially because they really ran with the receipts proof timeline thing going into this season. Like they used that within an inch of its life, but then the thing that it's about, they never mention.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll randomly come up later, like in whatever thing that we've been hearing in those clips of like you've been speaking to the enemy or whatever.
My
Again,
mortal
I'm
enemy.
not sure if it's her or Jen Shaw, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a little bit of a whispers I heard where Monica was potentially going to be like they asked her to be in the final episode, like to be like, I don't know, like a discussion with her, and maybe it would deal with the fallout of her season, but that Lisa and Heather said that they will quit if Monica is ever allowed back on the show again. So maybe the fact that they don't even want to give a spotlight to Monica at all, they're two major cast members, maybe that's why Bravo, against their will, had to move forward with a Monica-less season.
Right. How long do you remember how long Jen Shaw is serving? Was it like 7 years?
I think we're close to the end.
Okay.
Well, no. You're probably right, but I'm just thinking it probably was 7 or 8 years. But you got to count that good.
Good behavior.
What's it called? Good behavior. Do you think if we ever went to jail, we'd get out on good behavior?
Yeah, we'd be so diligent. We would do the little book cart delivery. I'd be
Yeah.
making tire hubcaps, jeans.
Yeah, I would stop fights.
Yeah.
I don't I don't even assume that there would be fights possibly in prison, but I would stop them if I could. I would do exactly what you said, sort of the Paddington 2
Yes.
strategy. But yeah, so
Baking.
I imagine Jen Shaw is going to come back, but not soon enough for the Bravo producers, to make her a part of it. And
Come
so
back.
so they kind of have these like huge impactful things in their past that they can't really reference as part of the legacy because they're no longer a part of this show. So they
Right.
keep having to start from scratch and make us care about shit when we've witnessed the most. It's like Brooks happening every season, but they can't talk about it, you know?
I saw some people on Twitter, which again, I don't even know why I'm on there. I shouldn't even admit that I'm on there because it's really gone down the tubes.
Wait, Twitter?
Yeah. The
Wait,
algorithm is so horrific. Like, it's just nasty on there.
What's yours like?
I'm just seeing shit that, like, is not for me. And it's, like, nasty, like, hateful shit.
Wow, really?
And I get Elon serves himself my tweets every 10 tweets, and I don't
Oh.
follow him.
Whoa, okay. All right.
I
Well,
mean, I guess I could just do the only who you follow, but there's so few people on it now that there would be like nothing.
yeah.
So I have to use the like for you, which is mostly like Housewives, The Substance, Challengers,
Right.
etc. But then it'll every session I'll see something that's just like politically not my flavor at all and just like shocking.
Wow. Okay. So what were you? Well, what did you uncover before that kind of shit happened? What did you see on Twitter?
Someone was saying, you know how last week the episode ended with like Heather saying that Whitney lies, or whatever. Like it was about like Whitney lying or whatever.
Oh yeah, about the book thing.
Yeah, and I saw like multiple tweets being like, wow, like Heather's gonna talk about someone being a liar when she could have like she should have been fired for the black eye incident. Like they were taking full like Bravo like legal point of view. And I was like, to me, I was like, I am still surprised that Andy was so pissed off about that. But like he's a company man, so that makes sense because he's thinking like from those parameters. But as a viewer, I'm like, who cares?
Right. Like we shouldn't really care about that. Like, why are you like I guess using that against her? But I do remember he was miffed because she like jokingly said maybe a producer could have done it, which is, like pretty, for him, he has to defend whatever production company produces
he knew
that.
What storm was coming his way. He was like, we cannot have one more thing like that in the mix.
But I agree. But then I have to say that was Heather's just deflection and humor and not wanting to acknowledge the reality of what happened, which is like could you imagine like
we still don't know the tea on that. She never said.
She said that Jen Shaw did it, but we don't know the details of it. She might be saving it for her next book, Good Girls Club or something. But
we should have. I've been watching that. I finished it last night. That Menendez Ryan Murphy show.
You finished it?
Mm-hmm.
How was it?
I just don't really get what they were going for. Like, I don't really get what the message was because the whole first 1 or 2 episodes, it's super stylized and like they are super hot and
who, those Menendez boys?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like implied like incestuous, like they're like just like ripped and like taking showers and like
whoa,
it's like kind of
together.
There is a scene like that, which I think is based on something that happened. But the the show is so goofy and like treats them like such assholes at first that like, which in my memory I was like however old, like 5 years old or whatever. Like I remember the case being that they were like asshole rich kids that were like evil. Mm-hmm. But then in my adult life, I've learned like what their defense was, which is like true horrors, like really, really bad. And the show kind of flip-flops between like it'll be so goofy and like ridiculous and make them look so bad, and then there's one episode in the middle that's more about like their side and like when they have to testify to what happened to them, that's really sad and like honestly like kind of well acted. So then you're like fully on their side, but then it like flips back to them being like dicks. And so I'm like, what am I supposed to take away from this show? Like I guess it's like kind of playing into the confusion of like the jurors or like the putting in all elements, like the public perception versus their point of view. But like tonally, like I feel like you can't really play with that like to that degree.
Yeah.
So anyways, I kind of binged it, which helped, but I don't know what Ryan Murphy was going for. But
what the hell was Ryan Murphy thinking? No, that's good. Well, I don't think I'm going to watch that because I don't really know anything about that and I don't really care, and I don't know if I love Ryan Murphy that much anymore.
No,
but
I will probably watch that new one with Travis Kelce though, just to see. So I'll let you know about that one.
What's that? American Horror Story?
Grotesquerie.
What? Ryan Murphy has a new show called Grotesquerie?
Yeah.
Starring
with Travis Kelce.
It's just called Grotesquerie?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like AHS Presents or anything. It might be. But yeah, it's just called Grotesquerie.
Whoa, and Travis Kelce's going to be in it?
Acting.
Oh my God. We kind of stopped talking about Travis Kelce. What happened?
Well, we're going to be talking about him next week when I watch these first 2 episodes of Grotesquerie.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about him again. Did you see that thing? This is the last thing I'll say before we talk about the episode. Did you see that thing that it was like going? Oh, did we already talk about this? Where it was like the contract. It was like someone like took a photo and it was like the contract and it said this is when Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to break up. Did you watch that or see that?
Yeah, it was like, and didn't they like sue or like send a cease and desist or something?
Yeah, it was like this is how Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going to break up, and it was like on September 26th or something.
Oh wow! Well,
So we might find out when this episode airs if they're going by that PR breakup.
it will be just like J-Lo and P. Diddy, who apparently were in a for show relationship, according to my deep dive videos.
That makes sense to me, to be honest, because I didn't even know that they were dating or married again. It was just to sort of get them both back in the good graces of the public.
Are you talking about Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
I said Diddy.
Oh, you said. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, Diddy and I'm so sorry.
The rumor on that is that Ben sees that J-Lo's going to be outed, and so that's why they're getting divorced. But that's also just fun fodder, you know.
Oh yeah, and my Megan had some fun fodder. She said that Mila Kunis is distancing herself from Ashton Kutcher because there's clips of him saying, "I went to every Diddy party that he'd let me go to."
He said it on freaking Hot Ones.
But well, okay. I'm not defending him, but didn't everybody went to Diddy's party for a really long time? They just didn't go to the bottom of the stairs, which
the even darker Ashton Kutcher factoid to remember is that a woman that he was going on a date with in the early aughts turned up dead, and like he said that he was supposed to come pick her up, and he said that he peeked into her window and saw like stains on the carpet, but didn't think anything of it and left. And then when Danny Masterson got, when those support letters of support came out, one of his victims said to Ashton, "I know everything. I was there that night. You guys are like birds of a feather," or something like that.
One of Danny Masterson's victims said, "I know everything, Ashton, about what you did that night." Like
apparently he called Danny Masterson that night freaking out. Allegedly.
Oh, we better allege this shit. We better allege the shit out of this.
Because one of Danny Masterson's victims said this publicly, that like Ashton called him on speaker freaking out about this dead girl. Gosh. And it's kind of like something that everyone has forgotten about.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, did Ashton...
Jimmy's been out of town for like a week, and I'm like literally, it's like that meme of Sarah Paulson from American Horror Story where like the phone is like lighting up her face and she's like demonic.
I haven't seen that meme, but wow.
I'm looking at very bad things online. I need to throw my phone away.
Okay, well, we'll get to the bottom of a couple of those, I'm sure, by next week, especially the Ashton one. But do you want to breeze through Salt Lake City?
Yeah. I'm trying to think where to start. It kind of like the scenes that are set up are Bronwyn and Lisa in the car. Whitney and her family are moving into their new house. Mary is still mad that Brittany called her poor.
Yes.
Heather gets in the car with Bronwyn and Lisa, and they go through the Wendy's drive-thru, which Wendy's really is throwing down on this deal.
Yeah. Do you think the deal is just with Lisa, so she orders it like all the time and shows it off, or Bravo must be getting a cut of that, right?
Yeah.
But Lisa just wants to put Wendy's in there, like she's like sponsored just to like always be a Wendy's head. You think?
Yeah, I wonder how that deal was packaged, because like I feel like she did the actual commercials, like obviously she gets paid for those, but I wonder if they just like packaged in like you have to, because it was also in the first episode, like when they like cruised over her living room, they were eating Wendy's. So I wonder if they were like, you have to include it 10 times this season or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it, but I did see at the very end, it said Lisa Barlow has a paid sponsorship or something with Wendy's. Like it had to like clarify so we knew why the hell she was eating Wendy's all the time.
Right.
So in those car rides, they're kind of like, I can gloss over it because they're kind of just talking about what happened at the Bezos dinner.
Yeah.
It's like Brittany's like, whoa, or I'm sorry, Bronwyn's like, whoa, you know, that was a little too much for me. I can't believe all that shit that happened. And she's kind of like, she's not really faulting anyone. She's kind of just like, I see points of what Whitney did, but she kind of did some weird stuff here. And Lisa, I can understand how you're feeling or whatever. I felt like she was pretty neutral, you know, for the most part. But then when Heather gets in the car, Bronwyn kind of says a snarky thing. She goes, oh, and when Whitney did her healed Whitney thing, I almost cried laughing. It was like, did you practice this shit in the mirror? And then Heather is like, I guess this kind of triggers her, almost like flashback to Monica. I think she's very worried about new cast members potentially. And she's like, whoa, you came in like ready with a hot take about one of the cast members. Like you already have a formed opinion of someone, and it really rang wrong in her ear. So it like sets Heather sort of against Bronwyn for the rest of the episode, leading to, you know, later in the episode when she confronts her.
Right. I did enjoy in general getting a peek at Bronwyn's life, which we got for the first time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of just like a kooky situation, like lots of dogs, a very old husband who, she says they've been together 10 years. And at one point they reveal that he carried the Olympic torch in London. And I don't understand why.
Well, 2012, you have to remember Palm Pilot and Palm Trio were two of the biggest phones. So I think they just wanted to honor sort of a tech, you know, wizard like him or whatever. But yeah, he said that he ran it from one end of London to the other. Did you see Todd? Did you see Todd had sort of a "Don't Tread on Me" sweater? Did you see that?
Yeah, I believe that's Gucci.
Oh, really?
A Gucci snake.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, so it's clear to me that Bronwyn just moved in.
Yeah, and they have. I mean, between her and Mary, it's like the Willy Wonka style over there is like crazy.
Yeah, this had a lot of that. So like if Bronwyn just moved, we have to assume as Bravo heads that she just moved to be a part of this franchise, right? Because that's the only reason why someone would be moving to a new place right now at the start of a season. Do you think
that her husband has to travel to the East Coast? I think like
he's in New York.
Week.
Yeah, twice a week. Do you think that she was potentially like they were just like, we don't know where we're gonna fit you? Like she could have been on Roni potentially, and then they were like, well, do you want to go to Salt Lake City? So she just moved here to be on the show.
I know. I always like try and resist getting into the nitty gritty of like the staged living situations, like how like everyone says Meredith doesn't live there and stuff. Like it just kind of like ruins the magic. Yeah,
but this one was just so I know what you mean. I don't want to think about it too much, but this was just so blatant. I mean, she's moving in and she doesn't even explain. I don't think she explains why she lives in Salt Lake City, you know? Right. So I'm just saying, it's just like, I don't know. They obviously just wanted her as a new cast member on the show, and she was ready to do that.
Yeah, and then they were showing like all of her weird art that she had, and then I liked that it turned out that her husband's into weird shit too. Like he was like, I have collectibles from all around the world. And I'm like, I need to see. It's giving like Michael Jackson's collection of weird shit. Weird figurines.
What did he have?
Remember, have you seen that video of him being like, I'll buy this, I'll take that, oh, I want one of those, one of that?
No, I've never seen that. Where was he?
I'll send it to you. It's like some like, I think it was in Vegas. It was during that Martin Bashir interview. And he's just spending like an ungodly amount of money buying like fugly antiques and stuff. And he'll just be like, I bought that. It'll be like a huge vase that's like $100,000. And he'll be like, oh, I'll take 2 of those. Like he just buys like everything.
So that's kind of what Todd and Bronwyn are doing.
Yeah, they have to fill. Their house isn't even full yet. They still need to buy more.
No, and then they open that thing. They're like, look at this piece that we got, and it's 4 chairs taped together, and the chairs say, "Please sit on me" in like neon lights. Did you see that?
You remind me of The Room. Remember? Or sorry, not The Room. The Ring. One of the scary images on The Ring tape like chairs like perilously stacked on top of each other.
Oh, does Samara sit on the top of one of those things? I don't
There
remember.
was like I remember there's like a horse and then there's like
Yeah.
a woman and then there's like
Oh.
chairs spinning around and like a ladder falls like
Oh.
one of those, you know?
Yes, as one of the things you watch when you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think definitely. And then she goes, "Todd, I got you a little present." And he goes, "Oh my God, Bronwyn, what did you get me?" And she gives him it was like a Louis Vuitton
Right.
box. And
Little
he goes,
case.
"This is from the Vegas Grand Prix, right?" And she goes, "Yes." And he goes, "I love this, honey." Did you like Todd?
I need to know more, but I did like thinking about the Palm Pilot for just a minute.
Oh, like what it was like?
Yeah. Never had one.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I never even came close. I was okay with him. I'm on the fence obviously with Bronwyn still. I don't 100% know, but I actually liked Bronwyn more this episode. And Todd, for the few 20 seconds I saw of him, I was kind of I found him, endearing so
Yeah.
far. I don't know. I mean, unless there's something horrible about him, but I didn't
Yeah.
notice anything like that yet.
More to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like older. I know she said he was older, but he was older than I thought. And then what was it? It was like Heather and Whitney doing their due diligence, crystal shopping, and I don't know. Are they ever going to get on the same page? I'm kind of like sick of it.
I really don't understand what's going on in the Heather and Whitney dynamic. Heather just knows that Whitney is a horrible friend to her,
Yeah.
and is going to treat her like shit all the time and spread lies about her and use their relationship for fodder for conflict. And she's done this throughout the entire run of the show. And Heather just forgives her every time, but then lashes out at her sometimes whenever she's really mad at her. Like, I don't really understand how Whitney is able to have this type of relationship with someone. And it sounds like Whitney is sort of everyone else is at their wits' end. No pun intended, with Whitney as well. Meredith and Lisa. And like she
Yeah.
had relationships with all of these people, but it sounds like that she's squandered it with everyone. She's done horrible things that Meredith can't get over. Now Lisa is getting the brunt of Whitney faking shit and lying to her, and Lisa is now done. And then Heather's the only one that puts up with it. I'm just not sure how this is sustainable for Whitney if you're feuding with 3 of the 4 main cast members. You know what I
Right.
mean? And Heather's the only one that tolerates you because she's your third cousin or whatever their relationship is.
Right. Did you also see that it was, I know you didn't watch that Mormon Wives show, but the fact that one of them is related to Ben Affleck has been debunked.
Yes, yeah. The one of the genealogists on TikTok said that's not an Affleck. Don't even say that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But
What? Yeah, it's sad that they like thought that the whole time.
yeah. And then Whitney soft pitches that she is going to have everyone go to Milwaukee to visit Trixie Mattel's bar there, which seems quite random, but I guess they just want to keep that Trixie Mattel relationship going because they maybe think they like the cross promo aspect of it. I don't know.
I didn't understand it either. I'm fine with it, but to me, it seemed like a retread for Whitney, like that she loved what she did when she brought them to the motel, which was great.
Yeah.
Like I loved
Yeah.
the Palm Springs trip, but it's like you're doing the exact same thing again, but in Milwaukee at a different establishment because you're hosting a drag night there. It just seemed like a
Right.
very random trip.
Right.
I-
Yeah.
and
Palm
everyone
Springs
kind of
made sense because they can do all kinds of other stuff, which I assume they will in Milwaukee too. But it's like like they were all saying, like the dead of winter.
Yeah, I think it was a sort of a so nice she wanted to do it twice
Yeah.
situation, and really harp on the friendship that she has with Trixie, you
Yeah.
know, and bring
Well,
that back in.
as a big fan of Trixie, I'm happy for her to get that promo to her various businesses.
Yeah.
Um,
Heather does say what I was kind of saying in this scene. She goes, Whitney, it does seem like you're sort of DGAF with all
yeah,
of these friendships. And that's how I feel as well. I mean, like what is going to happen when everybody writes you off and you're always testing the limits with Heather? If
yeah,
she doesn't like you, what are you going to do on this show? You're going to have Angie K, who you'll probably ruin that relationship for conflict whenever you
yeah,
need it. And then it sounds like or it seems like the friend of that she brought onto the show, you know, that there are scenes with here. I forget her name, but it doesn't seem like is going to be a friend of. So Whitney's really going to have no one to film with if she doesn't try to get forgiveness here.
yeah. I did like that she said DGAF, like
Yeah.
she like spelled it out.
You did like that?
Yeah. Um, then what?
Well, then we get okay. So I'll say my complaint about this episode is that the first 20 minutes were a little boring because they're kind of rehashing the Bezos dinner stuff. I don't really understand Lisa kind of toying with Angie K's friendship, how she is. I really do think that Angie K is a good friend to Lisa, and if Angie K said something to Whitney about what Lisa said, like we said last week, this is just how these shows work. Unfortunately, someone has to disseminate information, and Angie K didn't think that it was completely off limits, that thing. So I don't really enjoy that Lisa's trying to make Angie K like beg for forgiveness back when I know that Angie K likes and respects Lisa and only did that to further a storyline. So I didn't like really anything that's going on with that. Like I kind of want all of that shit to you know fizzle out because it's really boring. But then we get to the second half of the episode, which is Heather is like, "Hey, I want a team bonding event for all of us because I don't know. It's kind of a mess. Like where everybody's like loyalties are this season. But she's like, let's just have a team bonding event. It's just an activity, an all cast event, and then they go to that ropes course, which I actually thought was like kind of fun.
Yeah, it just made me want to watch the OC one where Vicky's finger gets caught and she like goes absolutely insane.
Oh my God! Yeah, yes, of course, yeah. Oh yeah, and we missed this. We didn't talk about this, but they don't really have much merit. But Meredith has two scenes like that are kind of just complete outliers. Like she's making shakshuka, and we find out that she wants to get a bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
And then the other one is like she's making a bath bomb like recipe with her kids at the house. Like I don't know how fertile either of those storylines are going to be.
Do you think there's going to be a goofy bat mitzvah, or do you think they're going to play it straight?
That's a good question. I have to
Is it gonna be
imagine.
giving like Sonia dog funeral, like she's too old to be doing this, or do you think because they did kind of play it emotionally when she told
Yeah.
Seth, like he like cried.
Yeah, I think they'll play it actually tastefully, but with some eccentricities that we'll see. But yeah, so we'll have to see what's going on with that. Meredith is kind of on her own island with those storylines.
Yeah.
And then we get to there was a Britney scene with pickleball, and I just want to say how many more scenes, like even this year, how many scenes have we seen of two people playing pickleball when they're absolutely horrible at it and they barely play? Big Pickle.
It's been going on for years.
Yeah, it's just like I know that there's not that many activities in the world, but eventually you got to mark them off the list. Like I saw this on another Bravo show, so we don't do pickleball, especially when they don't give a shit and they don't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There was some decent dating conversation here. Like this is where Brittany sets up the context about her Osmond ex. She said that her ex-husband started dating her current boyfriend in quotes, his ex-fiance.
Yeah.
So they sort of bonded about their exes dating.
Yeah.
And she's talking about their relationship. And then also Heather brought up something that I don't know if I like realized this or forgot or whatever, but she said that in Mormonism, you can't get into heaven without a husband.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Yeah. I guess, you want to, well, I don't want to get too offensive, but yeah, I mean, that's something that you definitely would like think about if you were in the Mormon religion. Be like, why does that exist? Because it doesn't really, I don't know, to me, it doesn't make much sense. But that's why she kind of thinks that Brittany is clamoring so much for a relationship. Like she never gives herself any time off between relationships. She like wants one so bad. And then she says to the detriment of her relationship with her children. So we learn that Brittany doesn't have a good relationship. Her daughters are not speaking to her right now, and that she kind of cares more about her relationship with a significant other than she does about her relationship with her kids. And that's when Heather says, well, I know how that can be the case because you're in this religion, you're basically worshiping your husband so that you can get to heaven.
Right.
I think I'm not going to say this offensively. I'm just going to say this as a true fact, and Mormon listeners can let us know. But I think you get I think, unless this is like some, they're trying to take some stuff out of context, I think you get a full planet with your family.
Hell yeah. Paradise planet.
Is that, you've heard that to be true too, right?
Yeah. I was very into the Book of Mormon musical for many years.
Okay. But do you know, this is, and these are real questions. I'm not being insensitive. Do you get to have anybody else, or can you go to other ones? Because if you're just with your family.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you just trapped up there for eternity? I don't know.
Eternity with
interplanetary travel? That's what you're asking.
That's what I'm asking. And that's a question for, anybody. It's just, I'm sure that,
little Megalopolis orbs to take you from one to one.
Oh my God! When you see what Caesar Catalina wants for the future, it is the one moment where you're so excited to see what life can be like in New Rome City. So Brittany is kind of she's at one of those times in your life, a crux in her life, where she really wants this relationship to work with Jared Osmond, but it seems like things are not going very well on the home front with her children. And Heather. Brittany's not ready to tell the full story yet. Heather, she kind of says, can we put a pin in this? I don't want to talk about this right now.
Yeah. She's kind of giving like essence of lower level Jen Padranti, where like her life is like in bad order and everyone's like ready to kill her.
I agree. It is a little Padranti. It is. That's yes, very, very similar to that. Also, there's a scene with Bronwyn and Angie, and what I'm gathering from that is that there's a lot of like scenes that we're not seeing where Brittany and the cast are like hanging out or something, but they really cut them all. So we are being introduced to Bronwyn and Brittany pretty late into their run. I think that everyone else has more of an established relationship than we do because they cut off those 3 weeks of filming or whatever. But it sounds like Bronwyn is really making inroads with all of the cast members because Angie K really likes her too. It seems like Whitney, likes her, and Whitney has met Whitney has met her husband and everything. So I'm just saying like Bronwyn has done more work than we even realize. Because this is only episode 2. We don't really know her, but the cast knows her kind of well.
Yeah. So we get to this climbing event. The second that Mary sees Brittany, she was like, "Dear God, help me." She just is making her target. And she makes a little joke that she says that Brittany is not the sharpest knife in the drawer, not even the sharpest spoon.
Right. Have you heard that before?
I have not.
Me neither. And then it's kind of scary up there. They're kind of have you ever done anything like this?
No.
Okay. It looks scary. They're strapped in, but they're kind of walking on tight ropes, and it has just like silly energy, like they're laughing. They're all having
people weren't that scared.
No.
Compared to like other versions of this that we've seen. Hold on.
Sure. No.
Is always precarious, but in other cities because they've done this also everywhere, like I said, OC, I'm pretty sure Atlanta, New Jersey, like almost every city has done some version of a like what do you call that, a course, like a obstacle course, I don't know. And they were all like kind of down to clown. No one was like freaking out.
Yeah. Do you think in the Bravo universe they've done every single thing that people can do?
Until there's a new thing. Yeah, we didn't know about axe throwing until we did. We didn't know about those rooms where you get to smash plates and printers until we did.
Yeah.
Escape rooms.
Yeah. You know what they've never done? They've never played like Xbox together.
Yeah.
Like they've never done like a Halo tournament.
Rummy Cube.
They've never done. Have they never done Rummy Cube?
I don't think so. At least not on camera that I can recall.
Yeah. There's some. I'm sure if you think of of activity that Bravo celebrities can do in the future, but I really feel like even they did butter churning. Like they've done almost everything in the world. So maybe that's why they have to go. Okay, we have to go back to the pickleball courts because there's just nothing in the world left for them to do.
Yeah.
IV drips.
Oh yes. Meredith makes a joke here because she is not going to participate in this obstacle course, and she goes, I have tennis elbow from churning too much butter.
And then they flash back to 10 months ago when she did that. Is that a joke on Meredith just giving a lame excuse for why she doesn't want to do anything, or are we supposed to believe that she still churns butter?
It was giving George Glass, like, I have tennis elbow from, she like thinks about the show and she's like, churning butter.
Who's George Glass?
From the Brady Bunch / the Brady Bunch movie. Jan pretends to have a boyfriend and they're like, what's his name? And she's like, George. And then she looks at the table and sees a glass. She's like, George Glass.
Wow. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. That's kind of funny. So I think, Meredith is kind of just given a silly excuse. The first thing that popped into her head. Why didn't she want to do this, you think?
Because it looks like it sucks.
Meredith is always sort of out of the mix a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah. She feels like she doesn't have to. I'm surprised Mary did it, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised too. You know what? I think I know potentially a theory why. After last season, Mary was sitting in the van every single scene saying, take me to McDonald's or whatever. Yeah. And maybe they said, in order for you to be a full-time cast member again, you have to go to a certain amount of activities. Yeah. And so she felt like she had to participate.
I hope so, because it was annoying.
Yeah.
Like, why do you get to get paid if you don't do anything?
Yeah. Then they bungee jumped down. Oh, Whitney she was holding the cords up above, and she goes, it's like I'm giving a hand job. And it's sort of like that sexual, like a sexual thing that you say, And then the producer goes, what? Why would you ever give a hand job like
that?
Like that? And she goes, because I used to jerk off Justin under his desk at his office.
And now he has no job.
Then they say they bungee jump down and they go to a food truck called Churros and Ice Cream, but they don't.
But they have quesadillas.
They have. This is kind of awesome. It looks like it was like a not a front, but it looked like a different restaurant used the Churros and Ice Cream truck because they were able to order anything. It was like someone got roast beef, someone got quesadilla.
Yeah.
Right?
Someone got a burger. No one was eating their quesadillas, I noticed. I was like, because to me, a quesadilla always sounds good. So I was like, ooh, I wonder if those are any good. And then the table was just littered with quesadillas. And I was like, nobody's eating their quesadillas.
Well, because Mary said, can I have beans and corn in mine? Which I don't usually.
Yeah, because she's vegan, supposedly.
Yeah. So then they get down, and this is when, now, I would say, it kind of kicks into high gear. I was like, okay, all right, we got 10 minutes left, 15 minutes left. We were watching people make shakshuka. We had them rehash some of the Bezos shit. But now let's sit down and let's have a little bit of fun. And 3 or 4 different conflicts popped up, and I actually think I liked almost every single thing that bubbled up. So they're all sitting down. I'll set the stage. They're all sitting down. They're not eating their quesadilla. Oh, for YouTube watchers, just so you know, Norman is visiting us on Amy's side. He's having the time of his life.
He still has a respiratory infection, so I'm debating. Hopefully you guys don't hear little Darth Vader breaths on mic.
You know what? I have headphones in, which lets me hear almost everything with like amazing strength, and I don't even hear him doing it. So I don't think. Well. So they're not eating, and then Brittany, I thought this was kind of audacious. She goes, "Shut up, everyone!
Ding ding
ding ding ding ding ding! I want to make a toast.
Yeah.
And then she goes, the toast is, she goes, you all know me and my on and off again relationship with this guy I'm seeing. And everybody looks around and the audience looks around and we're like, we don't know you at all.
Yeah.
We barely know you. We've only seen one scene or whatever. And the energy in the room has that same feeling. What are you doing? Why are you doing an all hands meeting to announce something? And Mary definitely has that. And she goes, well, last night, guess what? What's his name? Jonathan Osmond or Jared Osmond? She goes, yeah. Jared Osmond took me to Costco and we started racing through the aisles on 2 separate carts. And he said to me, I want to make this official. And then he posted it on Instagram and made us officially Instagram official.
Yeah.
And then Bronwyn goes, which I kind of gave her a little bit of credit. It was mean, but someone had to say it. She goes, I saw this Instagram and I don't know if he was trying to convey that because it said, what did it say? It said,
it was like Costco with my best friend or something.
It said, sometimes you just have to push your best friend around Costco. And it was sung to the tune. There was a song on it. And it said, let's go shopping. Uh-huh. And he had already previously, he had said for 7 months, he was like, we've been in a relationship, or he said, we've been together for 7 months as best friends. So it's kind of a common theme that he calls her his best friend. But Brittany took that to mean this is him officially announcing to the world that she's his girlfriend. But Bronwyn was kind of casting doubt upon that. So I have to ask you, where do you stand? Because I kind of agreed with Bronwyn and Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere on that did it make that what am I trying to say? Not confession, not profession.
Presumption? No, not in nowhere did it make that supposition
announcement.
Yeah,
whatever. I guess if you thought that he was literally just ashamed to know you at all, that's a big moment for you. But yeah, it doesn't, nowhere there says anything along the lines of like, my lover, my girlfriend, it's official, we're exclusive, or anything.
And it was a story too. So even if it was making it Instagram official, that expires. Do you think it's because a lot of Osmond brothers fans would be dismayed if they found out he was in a relationship? So he's trying to keep the terminology a little ambiguous.
I haven't looked into, is he really in the family business? Is he an entertainer to the degree that Johnny and Marie are?
Well, it's his, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's not the Osmond brothers. It's the Osmond family. Yeah, well, so I do think it's his responsibility to keep their legacy alive. Are they both with us still?
Yes.
And are they both Mormons?
Johnny still performs in Vegas.
Are they separated?
Like, they don't perform together.
Yeah.
I think it's just his show.
Oh, okay. Donnie and Marie, though?
They're brother or sister, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are they still on good terms?
I don't know. I think I remember, I mean, this was like 20 plus years ago now, but Oprah had all of the Osmonds on, like every single one, and they took up the entire stage.
So they are a family.
There's like 100 of them.
There are a family.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I only know Donnie and Marie Osmond. I don't even know them that well. It's a family.
There's more. Yeah. I think there was a whole act.
Is it like Righteous Gemstones? Is that what that's based off of?
I don't know that I could be wrong. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. They're not like, they were Mormon, but I don't know that their act was like specifically like godly.
Okay. Got it.
But maybe.
Okay. So I took this to mean, okay, so wait. So Bronwyn kind of says, that's not what you think it means. I don't know if him calling you his best friend means that you're Instagram official. And it did seem like Brittany really did have high hopes that was the case. And then Lisa goes, let me see that. And then Lisa sees it and she goes, oh my God. She goes, I don't think that means that at all. I'm really worried, Brittany. I don't think he means that. So it's kind of like the consensus that that's not what Jared Osmond meant at all.
And then Mary's like, why do I care?
Yes. And I do think that 9 times out of 10, I would think that that was really mean. But at the time, I was I was thinking it, not because I'm mad at Brittany and I don't like her. I just didn't think that the way she introduced that to the group, it was a little presumptuous to me to think that a new cast member that we don't know, that we should like hear like a minute, speech dedicated to your life when we don't really know you, and the cast members don't know you. I mean, Mary doesn't know her at all. She just met her at the Bezos party a couple days ago,
Right. Yeah. I also meant to mention earlier that when everyone was on like the zip line or whatever, there's like a friend of there called like, I think her name's like Maylee or
That's
Melee?
Whitney's friend, Melee.
Okay. Um, Mary at one point is like, "Who is that on the zip line or whatever?" And they're like, "Oh, it's Melee." And she goes, "I thought she was thinner than that," or
Yeah.
something like that. And I'm like, "Why does she always do this?"
She really remembers what she said to Heather. She was like, "Look at you, all thin or
Yeah.
whatever." So
Yeah.
she really, she really enjoys talking about people's physical appearance.
Yeah.
So she gets into it with Brittany, and then Brittany says, like, that's really rude, Mary, to say you don't care about me. And then Mary says, you actually are the one that was rude. You associated me with being poor.
Yeah, she will not let this go. Um, and then this is where it's like revealed, like it's kind of all over the place. Like everyone is chiming in and shit, and um, she is going at it with Mary, but then in between, she talks about the stuff that we mentioned before about how a couple of her daughters
Yeah.
won't talk to Brittany says her daughters don't talk to her. And Mary's like, you need to do some soul searching, girl. And Bronwyn's like, she's not wrong. Like Bronwyn just really seems to attach to Mary as the alpha. Like she's like, I'm gonna double down with Mary, which is honestly probably smart because she's like scary.
Hmm. Yes.
And then Brittany's like, why are you being rude? I'm a kind person. And Mary's like, if you're so kind, then why don't your daughters talk to you? And I'm like, damn, they're doing like the full, like, bottom of the barrel Tamra
Yeah.
insult on like episode 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Mary went the lowest you can go immediately. That gets Brittany to, she's very upset, obviously. She was like, don't ever talk about me as a mother. Shut up. And then
Yeah.
Mary goes, shut me up, shut me up, shut me up. Which I thought was a little bit, fun, but it was a total low blow. And then Lisa Barlow says, I don't think we want to go this low right here outside of churros and ice cream. She goes, let's bring it back up a little bit.
Right.
And then Bronwyn, this is when Bronwyn, if I remember correctly, Bronwyn wants to get a little piece
Yeah.
of it. She says, I want to know something about Brittany that's not completely unhinged. And then Brittany goes, what was that? And Bronwyn goes, all I know about so far is Costco carts and hoarders and calling people poor. I want to know, yeah, pure chaos. So far, you are wild and hot. And, right? Is that what she says? Oh, hot. She says, you are hot and wild. And Brittany goes, hot and wild.
Yeah. And she's like, you need to get your words tight because you're saying crazy shit all the time.
Yeah.
And Heather's like, well, like, that's interesting that you want to go after her for saying shit because you're telling everyone at this table something different. I'm like, ooh, it really is like a strategy
Yes.
here of who's going to call out who for what. Like, it just feels very like everyone's figuring out their loyalty cards and how they're going to play them.
Yeah, it kind of goes down the table. It goes from Brittany, and then they skip over Whitney. It goes to Bronwyn, and then it skips right to Heather. And then Heather calls out what I was saying earlier, which is that she says that Bronwyn is saying one thing to Lisa about how much she doesn't like Whitney and thought she was like over dramatic, and then she had a dinner with Whitney, and she said, I loved what you did, and I actually think Lisa was kind of lame in the moment or whatever. So Heather's trying to call her out on that, the hypocrisy or being a liar.
Right. And then like it's kind of a shit show, free for all. Like everyone's arguing to the point that I pretty much just wrote down everyone fighting, and that I noted that Whitney does end up apologizing to Meredith for the podcast because that
to
came up
Lisa.
again.
To Lisa, yeah.
Oh, sorry, Lisa.
Well, so one thing that I did think was interesting is that when Heather calls out, Heather thought this was a big moment. It was like, let's nip this in the bud. If this is another Monica that's like, I don't know, like saying one thing and doing another, or lying, or we can't trust anything about them, I'm going to nip this in the bud now. But then what we find out, which is usually never the case, is that Bronwyn actually told Whitney exactly what she said to Lisa. She told that to Whitney to her face. She said, where the hell did that healed Whitney thing come from? It seemed like you practiced that in front of the mirror, which is exactly what she told to Lisa. And Whitney heard her say that, and Whitney thinks that it was completely fine what Bronwyn said. And then Heather goes, Heather is trying to scramble to keep this case going. And she goes, well, Lisa, don't you find it odd that she had that snarky comment or whatever? And Lisa goes, actually, I understand how Bronwyn talks, and I understood what she meant in the moment. So then Heather is kind of just left on an island by herself because Whitney knows what Bronwyn said and doesn't care, and Bronwyn said it right to her face, and Lisa knows Bronwyn enough to think that she wasn't talking shit. So I kind of felt like Heather kind of got left out there on a limb, and she kind of flopped with bringing that to the group in a way.
Yeah. And then this is where Whitney tells the whole group about the Milwaukee trip. She says she has hired a private jet, which I'm like, did she pay for that? Or did that count as like the Bravo budget? But I'd just be surprised if Bravo would pay that much. And then Meredith says that she's TBD on if she will attend. And Whitney in her confessional is like, good, I hope you don't come.
Yeah, she does a Meredith impression, which it's a kind of a bad Meredith impression, but then she cuts it off and goes, good, I hope you don't go. Yeah. Did you know that Whitney also has a son named Brooks?
Oh.
Did you see that?
I realized that.
Yeah, there's like an 11-year-old kid,
Bobby
and it said,
Brooks.
Yeah, and it said Whitney's son, and I was like, wait, Meredith's son is named Brooks, right?
Huh. Yeah.
I just can't believe that. Why? Like, they never talk about it. Hey, we have sons that have the same name.
It's like all the cruises, the little cruise boys.
So, yeah, Meredith might not go. I don't know why she wouldn't. She probably should. It'd probably be good for her to go. I don't know if the storylines that she's going to generate this season are worth not going on a cast trip. I think, Meredith, I hope that you did go on that trip. But, yeah, then it ends on that note. So, I don't know. I thought there was a little bit of fun there. I loved the Costco thing. I love getting a peek into what the Osmond nephew is doing. And I felt like the villain podcast stuff is going to be over now that Whitney apologized. And now they can just focus on Whitney just generally treating them all like shit and not talk about anything from the Bezos dinner.
Yeah, hopefully they don't play the Nick Viall clip again.
Yeah, I hope they won't. I think that was the end of it, and I think that there was enough new stuff that was brought up at that lunch that's going to propel us for the future, hopefully.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. The new additions so far are, like, they're deploying them quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like usually you wouldn't have this much action with newbies within the first and second episode. Yeah,
I wish we would have gotten to know them a little more, because I do think that I'm like, how are you friends? It feels a little artificial that, like, I mean, Brittany even says when Mary's going, why the hell did you just tell us that? We don't know you at all. Brittany goes, aren't we all friends here? And it's like, no. I mean, what we're led to believe is that you were Heather's friend and she just brought you to that Bezos dinner one night ago. So you're not friends with anybody. So I wish that they would have been a little more organic, but I don't know. I guess we can't do anything about that.
True.
Yeah.
Hoping for the best, but I assume, I don't know. We'll see if Roni ends up taking the lead or if we need to continue to depend on Salt Lake.
Yeah, or what about OC? We kind of had a little bit of a...
That's coming up just right now. Let's go watch it.
Let's do it. I hope OC is better than last week. Amy and I are going to go take a certified turtle piss break, and then we are going to come back and we will talk about the latest episode of Real Housewives of Orange County. So you want to do that now?
Let's do it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
We're back.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. Honestly, I'm just looking at my notes, and the first thing I have to say is that I just love Terry Dubrow.
Oh, you did like that? Even
I not to jump right in, but I thought he was joking about getting a nose job, but then that's what happened.
yeah. You like him even though he admonished Heather on camera?
That was like juicy. I like that they left that in.
Me too. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say it now. That's a huge part of this episode. Terry sort of pulled the Jax Taylor. Well, I don't know if Jax actually did this, but the sort of like, I want my nose to work better, so I might as well get something good out of it in terms of making my nose look different at the same time. Did you feel like that was what it was?
Yeah, I like Heather was like, I'll fall on the sword for you and say that you're snoring too much.
Do you think he sleeps like a little angel and he never makes a noise and they had to come up with
I
that?
bet it was real. I feel like 90% of men over 50 have CPAP machines. I believe it.
Would they say 50%, you said?
I made that up, but like I feel like it's super common.
But did you agree with me that I think that Terry should have just been open and honest and say, hey guys, it's okay. I want a nose job.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe, like he mentioned, that he betrayed Paul Nassif like this.
Why do you think he did that?
I know that's not a great endorsement for him being the #1 nose guy in Beverly Hills.
Oh, I was just going to say maybe Paul's not a nose guy, but that's his thing.
That's his thing.
Oh, really? The nose?
Yeah. Terry does the tits and Paul does the nose.
Wow. Titty Terry and Nose Nassif.
Absolutely.
Didn't Titty, or sorry, not Titty Terry. Didn't Nose Nassif? He did Rachel's nose, but it was James's fault because James was kissing Rachel way too hard.
Yeah, James let something slip and
so
her nose went crooked.
So Nose Nassif, Paul does do good noses, but for some reason, I don't know, maybe it's like you don't want your friend to operate on you.
Perform the first surgery, or was it that she got surgery with someone else, and then Lisa was like, I know who you should talk to, and then it was like too expensive to even go to Terry or Paul.
Yeah, Paul goes, what the hell happened to you? And then she was like, James is kissing me too hard. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Paul was the second opinion. Lisa was like, oh, I got a great thing I can do, this season. I can give Rachel over to Paul. But I think Terry did it, not to be mean to him, but I think that as a plastic surgeon, he should have just been honest and said, I want a slimmer nose.
Yeah. I mean, he does have quite a schnoz.
He even says that.
Yeah.
I liked this episode. At first, I was kind of like, okay, what the hell is going on here? But once we got to the final 20 minutes, I feel just like Salt Lake City, where this was very backloaded. I enjoyed that dinner party. I thought it had some unusual energy, like kind of weird, awkward dinner party energy, and like actually awkward, because Katie and Matt were hosting this thing, and nobody wanted to act too like out of school at Matt's house. Right. So I kind of liked that energy a little bit. Right.
Like it was essentially ruined by this the dueling couples that were there. It seemed like if it was just one or the other of them were there, it would have just been like a totally normal and nice time.
Yes. Yeah. Tamra wanted to try to make the most out of it.
I mean, the second she ordered a martini, I was like, here we go.
Yeah. We'll get to that. So a major thing that is happening here is, first of all, Emily wants, the last sparks of the Heather size 12 dress thing to happen, or at least to explain what happened there. And so she's at coffee with Gina and Tamra, right? And Emily is with Gina and Tamra at coffee, and Emily goes, I think that this whole thing got derailed because Alexis was going absolutely wild. I would have been able to have a better conversation with Heather had Alexis not been so annoying. So she's kind of like, hey, don't blame me for my full-blown flop shit last episode. It was really because Alexis was ruining the vibe for me.
I don't understand, so she brings it up again at the very end, she gets emotional about it again, and I'm like, I literally don't understand what she wants anyone, including Heather or anyone else, to say. It's
kind of like, in my opinion, it is like That would have been good, that moment. Don't you see what I was trying to do? It kind of got so ruined, but don't you get where I'm coming from? And everybody's like, yeah, we do. And Heather did too. Everybody
Uh-huh.
did. And it's over now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think Emily just can't believe she was handed that like that piece of conflict that she really wanted, and it didn't go her way at all because of Alexis, because of how
Yeah.
Heather's reaction. And then now she's kind of spinning her wheels again still to be like, God, that could have been really something if you all
At
just
this
listened to me
point,
more.
every time she brings it up from here forward, I am offended as a size 12 woman.
Yeah.
Like, she's just like, how disgusting and horrific is it that she thinks I'm a 12? It's horrible.
Yeah, and then Tamra goes, did she put a cartoonishly large size 12 tag on the dress?
Like, did the tag basically say like obese piece of shit size 12?
And Emily goes, no, it didn't have a huge tag, but still, can't you see why I'm so upset? So I think that she was trying to blame Alexis a little bit, and then we get this new scene that we didn't see. Alexis is down on her knees in the bathroom, and she's somewhere, and she's going, you don't know how horrible things are going to get tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
It's all coming out tomorrow. Johnny
She's
J.
like P. Diddy last week.
Was he like that? Down on his knees crying for
knew.
help? Oh my God. She goes, Johnny J has lost everything. And I was like, again, I'm like, what did he lose? His wonderful reputation. And then she's like, it's all coming out tomorrow, kind of like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah. I also enjoyed this. I don't know, like if I had a mini stroke like Terry, but like I didn't write any of that down.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I was saying something. If you're watching on YouTube, Amy's eyes dart left and right. I was like, they're at a coffee shop with Gina and Tamra. Amy obviously knows this better than you, and you went, and then just let me.
I'm like, Jen and Ryan shopping? Anyone?
Maybe you started a little late in the broadcast, or I don't know. I won't speculate. But you got but then we get to Terry and Heather, which this is what you like. I mean, we liked this.
Oh, okay, so all of that was first.
So did you? But yes, that was all first. Emily says Alexis is responsible for my storyline flopping, and then also, did you get a load of Alexis when she was screaming at the top of her lungs, saying that everything will be revealed tomorrow? And then we go to Terry and Heather, and they're on their separate, their separate journey, and it is that Terry wants to get that. A slimmer, well, I don't know about slimmer, but a different style of nose. And Heather blames it on the snoring. But because he suffered that mini stroke, he needs to do pre-op examination to make sure that he doesn't get, pass away during anesthesia or something,
Yes. Yeah, I know. I was like, we should all, every time Terry or anyone at that level goes to the doctor and they name the doctor, we should be writing these names down, because you have to imagine his cardiologist is one of the best.
Oh, Dr. Abrahamson. Dr.
Yeah.
Abrahamson, I think his name was.
He was
my
like
God.
old, like, he's done thousands of hours of heart
God.
surgeries.
He's probably saved so many people's lives, that some of the celebrities that you've never even heard of before.
I love the doctor report. Like sometimes on Botched, depending on what it is, sometimes they'll bring in like a third doctor if it's like an orthopedic surgeon that like they need a specialty person, and you can tell they just bro down with all these guys. And I'm like, I love this doctor friendship moment.
Yeah, that is so cool. Do you have any friends that are doctors?
Not directly. I have like friends of friends, which I keep meaning to ask questions. I want advice of all kinds.
Oh, it's amazing. I have a doctor in my life, and I can ask them anything in the world. So
That's great.
You got to get a doctor friend. But I totally get what you're saying. That sort of like doctor camaraderie.
Yeah.
And then this is when, so Heather goes, well, you will never believe the night I had, Terry. I feel like I am frazzled, and I feel like shit because everybody was screaming at me. And then Heather alludes to last season. She goes, after what I went through last season, I don't know where the hell I stand with Gina and Emily. It's like we take 2 steps forward, or what's the expression? 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And Emily, and it's true, Emily does not like Heather. And
Yeah.
she makes it known all the time. And then Terry goes, well, hey, listen to me. You have a process when you're trying to like get over something. You need to talk about it once. You need to talk about it twice. Sometimes you'll even talk about it 3 times. And then you can say what Heather.
Yeah. Heather's like, I've had enough.
Yeah,
Stop talking.
she goes, that's an overstatement. And he goes, no, it's ad nauseum. And he's I think it's sort of in the realm of the Terry playful banter like I've heard before, but you can tell that Heather does not want to be associated with this, even though they have flashbacks of her talking about this incident 3 times with Gina, just like Terry said, but she doesn't like it. She says, I'm done with it. And then he's like, well, if you're going to have that attitude with it, I'm done with this convo too right now. He gets legitimately pissed.
Yeah, the nurse is like, all right, well, you're done with the blood, so you guys can leave if you want. And they're like,
Yeah.
Get out of here. And then you just hear like whispers in the hallway of her being like, don't do that. Don't admonish me on camera. I don't like that. And he's like, I wasn't doing that. Like, let me speak. Don't talk over me. And it was like, I don't know. It was just kind of funny because it's like, it's the kind of shit. It's like regular partnership stuff where you would get pissed off and annoyed at
Yeah.
your
I
husband.
say that all the time to my wife. I say, don't admonish me like that. Do you think like does it make you worried at all about the kind of possible facade we're getting if they can't even have scenes like that barely register on the fractured relationship scale that we've seen, and they can't even have that low key of an argument without saying, don't ever talk to me like that on camera?
I don't know. It didn't like concern me. Doesn't surprise me much from Heather that she like wants to keep it all looking tight on camera, you know?
Oh yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if most couples have conversations like that.
Yeah. It's giving take a trip to Disneyland for me.
Who wants to go to Disneyland? Me,
That's the TMZ photographer.
baby photographer.
Yeah. So I was like, wow. So, that's how you guys navigate things. There's some stuff off camera, at least a little bit. Heather didn't like that. And then the next scene, they get in the doctor's office and Terry goes, help me with my gown, honey. And it was kind of like, back to the normal, like perfect relationship
Yeah.
thing.
He also, while they were giving him the exam, he said that it was giving him a heart on.
Yeah. I loved that humor, sort of medical humor.
Oh, yes.
Did you see how Dr. Abramson was laughing?
He was like, SMH, Terry.
He was completely doubled over. And then this is the scene that you like.
Funky shirts.
This was awesome. They go to this store called Ryan's Outfits, and it's a store filled with the clothes that Ryan likes to wear. There's splattered jean jackets. There's pants that have they have jeans, but then the knees will be linen patches. It's like the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. Did you see some of the clothes?
Outfitters. And Jen reveals that he gets everything tailored, including his jeans, his t-shirts, his underwear, and his board shorts.
Yeah. And the producer goes, seriously, Jen, is that true? And Jen goes, oh, yeah. Everything like that. And then he puts on this jacket. Well, first she shows him this one shirt, and he goes, that's too much even for me, Jen. But then
I don't believe him.
I know. It looks so perfect. I'm sure that he has that. He already had that shirt. But then he puts on this kind of cool jacket. I kind of liked it. Did you see it?
Yeah, very sharp. But yeah, this saleswoman, I was kind of like, damn, bitch. She goes, you guys know Tamra and Eddie, right? And they're like, and I was like, oh my God, what is she going to say?
Seriously.
And she's like, they were in here last week. Eddie bought the same jacket. And I'd be like, then I don't want it? Like, why
Right.
would you tell them that someone that they are on camera with bought the same jacket already?
Yeah, but Ryan does the opposite. He rubs his hands together, and then they show them both wearing this sort of, what kind of style jacket would you say that was? Like, it was...
Hard to say, but they were wearing it with the collar popped.
Yeah, I don't even know what style that was. And then we are going now bouncing between scenes. We get a little peek at Eddie and Tamara's house. And then...
The House of Horrors, in my opinion.
Why? Why do you say that?
They just like bum me out. Talk about like a phony relationship. I feel like they do not have fun.
You gotta will you tell me a little bit about that, because that actually is what Ryan accuses them of. Why do you say that?
Well, Eddie looks like shit. He seems unhappy. By the end of that dinner, I was like, he hates his life.
Yeah.
His wife pisses him off.
Yeah.
They're in the house and she's like, I keep stepping on these damn bones all over the house. And he goes, it's called having a dog. And then she's like, there's freaking oil all over the stove. You got to clean up after you make dinner. And he goes, it's called cooking.
It's true. Yeah, there was that sort of oh, I'm so sorry. I got a silver alert. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. This has never happened on Turtle Time before.
Earlier, they really
you
want to
did?
find this person.
Oh, I'm so sorry, little turtle cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs, but I'm gonna have to stop and find this. There's a silver alert going on. Oh. Well, maybe I'll do.
We'll go looking after.
We'll do it after. So yeah, I thought the same thing. You know, Eddie seems more and more miserable as the episode goes on. Yeah. And then we go back to Jen and Ryan, and he's twirling around in that new jacket, and he goes, Eddie and Tamra say that I'm a blinking red light. Is this giving blinking red light? Right? Is that what they say?
Like, as in, like, red flag? Is that what he meant?
I think so. Like
okay.
warning, do not touch or slow down near me or
yeah.
And then Jen goes, you know what? Tamra and I buried the hatchet. I realize that it's better to sort of be friends with Tamra than have her be horribly evil to me and ruin my life. And I know you and Eddie are not good, so I would love if you could repair that relationship. Mm-hmm. And Ryan goes, I think he says something like, he says, Eddie's not a dude that I like. Like, he's not a dude that I would hang with. Not at all a dude, like me.
Yeah, what does it mean to not be a dude?
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, there's like shots fired, but there does seem to be goodwill between Eddie and Jen. Like, Eddie says Jen is a kind and loving woman, and Jen is like, I've always really loved Eddie. It sounds like maybe he was her trainer. Like, they spent a lot of time together. They're just never going to be able to be friends, I don't think.
No. And then Tamra lets loose. She says that Ryan went on one podcast in his life all about the TRH, and he spread so much libelous shit. No, it was kind of like...
Remains to be seen.
Yeah, we don't know, because they didn't show any proof of it. And then the one clip they do show, I mean, I don't want to step on it, but I thought Ryan handled himself well.
He says the last thing I would want to do is speculate. He literally shoots it down completely, doesn't participate. And I just went on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, and I saw that Tamra and Jen are going back and forth in the comments, because I guess now that people are seeing that there's nothing really in the podcast, Tamra's accusing the podcast of cleaning up the episode.
After the fact?
And they denied it.
Oh my God! Wow, TRH is getting some shine there.
That's what we need to do.
Did you hear? Oh, of course. Oh my God! Of course. Like, we edited the shit out of our Wes Wilson interview. Yeah. And then the question. Whenever I hear these podcast questions, I mean, it's like it was the most like biased leading question I've ever heard in my life. It was like, Tamra is a horrible mother, and she has a horrible relationship with her children. So do you think that she's just completely jealous of her because, she's so miserable? And that's when he goes, Jesus Christ.
He's like, I don't live in that house, so I could never comment on something like that.
It was I can't believe, let's have an interview like that.
Yeah. Like, we should have Tamra on and be like, just cause World War III.
Oh, I mean, I would love to have Tamra on Turtle Time. That would be awesome. I wonder if she'd ever come on, you think?
Maybe.
Okay.
She does a lot. She's busy, though.
She's busy. Maybe we'll get her someday. And then Ryan says, he goes, I had enough. I had been berated last season, so I was fed up, and that's why I said this shit on that podcast. But I'd be willing to have a conversation with Eddie. And then we cut to Tamra going, Eddie, would you with him? And he goes, no.
I want nothing to do with him.
Yeah, he would not. He goes, tell Jen I love her more than life, and I'll always think that she's a special person, but I want nothing to do with Ryan. I should have Googled that guy the minute I met him. He's a scumbag.
Right. That basically felt like a call to arms for us to Google him.
Yeah.
You
Should
know,
we?
there's gonna be a lot of results, especially today. Um, okay, then we get cute slash sad Shannon at home alone with Archie.
Yeah. Well, she talks to her. She talks to her daughter first.
Yeah.
She goes to because her daughter's in New York. You saw that
Yeah.
part, and I was just,
Yeah.
oh, I was just thinking. I was worried. Her name's Adeline, I guess Shannon's daughter. I was worried about how she was taking the Eric Adams news.
Yeah, she's new to the city. It's already crumbling.
It's kind of like it ruins the romantic, the Big Apple to find out that your mayor was taking those Turkish Airlines flights.
It's like Gotham.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's like Gotham, completely.
Yeah, she said the men in NYC are disgusting, and that she would pretty much only go out with someone if they could get her into Carbone.
Yeah. Wait, where is Carbone? Or what is Carbone?
It's like a trendy Italian restaurant. You can buy the sauce at Costco sometimes.
Costco? Wow.
That's right.
There's a lot of Costco. Is Carbone in Manhattan?
Yeah, I don't know what neighborhood it's in. I've never been. It's kind
Oh.
of like in the past couple years become a real thing. Like
Okay.
a Dumois hotspot.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're talking about Shannon says she loved doing the little tour with Vicky. She needed to laugh and she had a lot of fun. She's like, this lawsuit is like ruining my life. And it sounds like her daughter, she just keeps being like, it's gross. He sucks. That's just how he is. Like, either she already hated Johnny J or definitely does now.
it makes you think, what do you think? That she grew to hate him or maybe she always disliked
I
him?
bet they were suspicious,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then she goes, she's like, I feel like I've hit rock bottom. I don't think I could go any lower. And then it goes, later that day. And it's like splashed in the headlines. Like
Yeah.
John Jansen sues Shannon Bedore for $75,000. And Tamra's like, oh shit, this is crazy. Do you see this? And she calls Shannon, which I was like, oh, that's nice for once. Like calling Shannon to check in. Shannon doesn't answer. Then she gets a call back from Shannon, and it's clearly a butt dial. And Tamra, because she's such a good friend, doesn't try to get her attention or hang up, but allows the call to roll and to use the information she hears against Shannon for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, it tells everyone that this was a butt dial that she heard all this from. She's crying. She says, Alexis hired a PR person to do this. I'm so tired. So yeah, Tamra got to hear this full-blown butt dial phone call.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that crazy of a butt dial. Like,
What if
wow,
Shannon-
shocker, Shannon thinks Alexis participates in the publicity of this situation.
It could have been a lot worse. Could you imagine if she had been saying anything else? I mean, that's like my worst nightmare. Have you ever accidentally pressed the audio note thing?
Yes, that keeps happening like this week. Like the past couple weeks, it happens 5 times a day.
I'm so scared that, I'll click it and I'll just be heavily breathing.
Yes. Or like talking nonsense.
And I feel like it's hard that you don't know where the X is. It's hard to not click.
No, it literally happens. Like,
Yeah.
they made a bad update or something.
Apple, you need to
constantly.
You need to remove that so we shouldn't be able to send audio notes that easily to our friends. I would never want them to hear that.
No.
Then Katie, I want to say up front before I forget it, I really liked Matt this episode. I feel like we've only gotten little glimpses of him, but he actually was, I think he was really kind of like sweet and fun this episode. I liked him overall.
He seems like chill and normal.
Yeah. So Katie's hosting a couples dinner party. So the only people not invited are Heather and Shannon and Alexis,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamra, Emily. Oh, wait, Gina wasn't there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Did they even talk about that? So like they implied that Heather wasn't invited because they have like a rift, but they didn't really get into that. And then they said it would make Shannon sad to be invited to a couple's dinner. And then Gina, is it because her relationship is fucked up? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So it was just Emily, Tamra, Jen, and then Katie. 4 couples.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we get a a quick stop in with Terry post surgery. He's cracking jokes.
Yeah, what does he say?
He tells Heather she's allowed to grieve for 6 months. Like he keeps making like jokes about like dying and stuff.
Yeah, and date someone with a better nose after me, please, he says.
Yeah. And he goes, Paul's gonna shit. And did you understand what joke he was trying to make when it looked like he was jerking it under the sheets?
Yeah, I just said Terry starts to jerk off under his doctor's sheets or whatever. I think he was trying to say I'm ripping out all of the. He wanted to say I'm ripping out the like all the IVs or something, but he just did like 6 strong jerk off motions, and Heather goes, "That's not at all. It didn't look like what you thought it looked like."
Yeah, there was only one way to interpret that.
Yeah, Emily, we get a little. Oh no, I'm sorry. We get a little Gina. Gina's making meatballs and hot sauce and lasagna, and Britt and Matt come over. We remember Matt.
Her ex-husband and his new girlfriend who are engaged.
Yes.
And this is also sad because it's like, I mean, I think it's great that she gets along with her ex. Like, it seems healthy and nice and like good co-parenting, and she really likes who will be her kid's new stepmom. It all seems very positive, but of course it makes her feel like absolute shit that she's not doing the same thing on her end, where it always seemed like that was the way it was headed. And they even show that her kids threw her and Travis this little mock backyard wedding.
That was
and I'm
sad.
like, that's so sad.
It was like a sort of like a almost like Sound of Music-esque thing where the two like all the different kids celebrate this thing in the backyard. Yeah, that was very sad. She feels like they're taking a step backward. And that was it.
Yeah. I wonder, she's really doubling down here that it's because of his crazy ex, and says that the situation's getting worse and worse. And I'm like, I don't feel like that's the only thing going on.
Yeah, and didn't you tell me that the Travis's ex said, I'm not the one that's holding up the divorce proceedings. Travis won't. Yeah.
Yeah. So drama there. Then we go to Katie's. People are about to come over. She fills in her husband about the Ryan and Eddie situation, and like that there was podcast drama, which I feel like is just like the new thing, that there's always going to be a plot line on every show, every season, forever, about something that was said on a podcast.
I think it's unfortunate for us that it's happening on Salt Lake City and OC at the exact same time.
Right. So yeah, everyone starts coming. Tamra orders a martini, which is immediate trouble because she can't hold her alcohol. Ryan, luckily they have Malibu and Diet Coke, so him and Jen get that, which I'm like, what are the odds? I mean, they must have like done their due diligence and realized that that's what they like, because no average house party, dinner party bar would have that.
Yeah, I think Katie knew that was his drink of choice.
That's good hostessing.
Yeah, that was sweet. Jen gets one too, and then when Ryan decides to like go right into it, and he says hi to everybody, and then he says hi to Eddie. He goes, "Hey man, how are you?" And Eddie says, "Hey," but then Ryan wants a full hug, which. Yeah. I mean, even under normal circumstances, maybe not everybody, maybe you're not in a hugging mood, or you don't think you guys should hug, but Ryan says, "You want to give me a hug?" And Eddie goes, "No." And he goes, "Okay." And then he immediately has to go give Shane a big bear hug.
Right. No, that was awkward. And then he says something else to Eddie, and Eddie's like, I have nothing to say to you. Like, just like, fuck off.
Eddie kind of goes away, walks away for a second. And then Ryan goes, "Oh, are you going to hide?" So Ryan's being really, really antagonistic. Yeah. And then Tamra in the kitchen is talking to Emily and is saying that Ryan, about the podcast, crossed the line like a little bitch. And Emily's like, "Don't say little bitch in front of Shane," and they roll the Kelly Dodd clip, which I'm always happy to see. And then it made me miss Kelly Dodd, which
is sad.
I know. I love that moment too. Wasn't she calling him a little dork as well?
Yeah,
Before
she's
she
like, he's a dork. He's a
look at
fucking dork.
that little dork over there. It seemed like Emily had, was looking back on that nostalgic, wistfully almost. Like it's come full circle. Like they
She
kind
knows
of,
it's iconic.
yeah, it's iconic. Eddie is drinking water. Matt gives
Yeah.
him faucet water, and he goes, "Are you sure?"
Boring.
Yeah. Matt goes, "Are you sure I can't put a little lemon in there or whatever?" And he goes, "No, this is how I drink my water. Ice, just like this." So Eddie's not drinking, and then Shane doesn't drink either.
Right. Mormon.
Yep.
And then Ryan walks away and he's like, Eddie's being a clown. He's being a baby bitch.
Damn. That was yeah.
And then what's Katie's husband's name?
Matt.
Matt asks Ryan, what do you do for work? And they give Ryan the rambling, funky liar edit where he
Yeah.
talks about mortgages and development and all of this stuff for like, they act like he talks for like an hour and
Yeah.
then it like doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's like, and then COVID happened. And then Matt goes, "Oh, wow, okay, cool." And then that's yeah.
Yep. Then we already get little inklings that Tamra's drinking too much. Eddie goes like, cool it on your drinks. And then she's like holding a glass of wine for Emily and a martini for herself. And the martini, she's holding it like at a complete angle and it's just completely pouring onto the floor for like what feels like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And Eddie's like, you're spilling. Like he's like so mad.
Yeah, he really he really does not want her to drink that much here. He's like worried about it. And then they go over, he sidles up to Matt at the bar and he goes, "Hey man, Matt,
Right.
maybe don't serve Tamra any more alcohol." And Matt goes, "Okay." And he goes, "Please." It's like, is that
That's not his
Matt's
job.
Yeah, Matt can't do that. What
Yeah,
would
like
he do?
if she comes up to me and asks for another drink, I will give it to her. Like,
Yeah, what
that's
can he
not my
say?
problem.
Your husband told me that I can't serve you alcohol anymore.
Right.
I don't think Eddie should have put that, on Matt.
No, I feel like he was saying like, I know that she's like a little out of control. Like, I'm aware of the situation, and like that's why it's annoying because last time Tamra was on Watch What Happens Live, when she was giving Shannon shit for drinking, someone asked her a question, or it was like she was commenting on Shannon saying that Tamra drinks too or whatever. She goes, I actually don't drink. I just have some liquid courage on the show, but generally I really don't drink. And I'm like, then how come you always get so fucked up? Like, why? Like, that's not good either to like not drink, but then when you do drink, you're like an absolute train wreck and it's on camera.
Yeah. Oh, so that's what she said. She said she only uses it for liquid courage sometimes.
That's what she said, but I think she's full of shit.
Wow. Well, she had liquid courage at the table when they sit down.
Yeah.
Tamara is first saying that Matt is an amazing guy, and I sort of agree so far. He seems to be really nice to everyone. He seems engaged. He seems to actually want to meet these people. He doesn't
Yeah.
have any of that phony camera personality. He's not going
Yeah.
too big. You know what I mean?
He's like normal, but not like boring because he seems like
Yeah.
he seems like he's in real life like a cool guy. And I like that they say he's never been married and he doesn't have any kids previously, so he has like no drama whatsoever.
Yeah, he's a unicorn, Katie says. And I feel like because of Matt's demeanor, like this, most of the time, like I was saying earlier, like this didn't devolve into a typical scene that's just pure chaos, even though it ultimately gets there. But I think that everybody was sort of reserved because they're meeting Matt for the first time and they don't want to embarrass themselves in front of him. Like it does
Right.
have that a little bit. But then they get into that, like when he met Katie and everything, and they tell
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah, then Tamara's like, I saw her butthole and like tries to take it off the rails. And it's like, all right, we were having a normal conversation. And then Emily tries to bring up the size 12 shit. And she's like, Ryan, don't you see me at the gym every single day? And it's like, why are we talking about this? Like, Heather wasn't like, you don't work out. You're an obese size 12. Wear this schmata. Like, what? Like, this isn't worth talking about.
Yeah, she said, do you understand why seeing a size 12 would hurt me so? And Ryan goes, absolutely, I know why that would.
Yeah, and then we have to hear like commentary about like Tamra, like from Tamra saying like, yeah, that is sad to be a size 12. Like, I feel bad for her. That
Yeah.
sucks. Like, when you're surrounded by zeros and you're a 12, like, really sucks.
Right.
And then Tamra brings up the butt dial conversation and tells everyone what she heard and skews it so that it sounds even worse. And it's like, she says Alexis is behind all of this. A lot of blame on Alexis. All about Alexis.
Yeah.
And then I think Katie says, you know, like, understandably, if you've been sued twice and both times they were people dating Alexis, that's kind of crazy. And Tamra goes, you cannot compare the two. Like, they're not related, which I don't even know how you can logically not include that information.
Right. Tamra just wants to, be loyal to Alexis at this point. I don't really understand why Tamra's like bragging about this butt dial call to everyone. It makes you look bad that you were like listening to this secret information that Shannon didn't want you to have, you know?
Yeah. She said on Watch What Happens Live that she was like, I did it because there were cameras present. Like, she basically acted like it was like her duty to let the information play on camera.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah. Then they all get into like the nitty gritty of the lawsuit. Like, what would you do in these circumstances? Emily says, like, if Johnny J were my client, I would tell him to take the money and move on. And so they're all talking about that. And then it does a hard cut to Shannon doing a neti pot and like a blob of snot coming out of her nose.
Oh wow, I didn't see the snot come out. It did.
It was disgusting. She was like saying that she was sick because of all of this drama, and she was getting in her pajamas to go to bed. But luckily, because like her daughters are gone, but Archie is there, and now I'm like, how old is Archie? Like, I'm concerned.
I know.
He's been with us a while.
That made me sad, but it was so sweet. He jumps up on the bed. She gives him his snack
Carrots.
or whatever, carrots, and then he just immediately pops down and goes to sleep next to Shannon. I thought that was really sweet.
He's one of the great Bravo dogs.
Yeah.
And then Tamra goes ape. She goes, why don't we talk about the elephant in the room? And I was like, oh, there's the episode title.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, it was? Wow.
Elephant in the room.
Wow. And then Emily goes, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the conflict between Eddie and Ryan?
And she's like, Ryan, you attacked me on that podcast as a mom. You attacked Eddie as a businessman. And he's like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, ooh, what's it going to be? Like, what did he say? And then they're talking about the thing that in the reverse, he's like, Eddie has said all kinds of stuff about me, because if we remember from like last season or whenever that was, someone went up to Eddie at the gym and was like, just so you know, that guy loves to fuck married women.
One of his friends said
and Eddie's like, what? Like,
wow.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And Ryan's like, well, then why didn't you come up to me and like say, like, is that true? What's going on? Like, and Eddie's like, you're not a threat to me. You will not have my wife.
Yeah. He said that Ryan could never have his wife, ever.
Like, why are you talking like that? Be normal. Like, what are you saying?
Even if Ryan wanted her so bad, he could never have her, he said. And he said, I have nothing to prove. And then Jen said, why are you doing this to Tamra? Because Tamra is the one who's, like, starting this shit or whatever. And then Tamra screams that she told the truth about Ryan last season. Right.
Yeah, Jen just keeps being like, why? Like, can't you just be nice? Like, why do we have to keep getting into this shit? And she's like, never going to give it up about the podcast. They roll the clip. Like we said earlier, there's like nothing wrong with it. But then there's a weird one where, because she's like, you said stuff about my son. And it basically says something along the lines of like, the only Ryan you need to worry about is this one. And it's like a picture of her son, which if that's all it said, I'd be like, okay. But then there's like a camera emoji and a eggplant emoji and then a link to dickpic.shop. So is he trying to say that the meme, like, does he always just link to his dick pic merch no matter what, and it had nothing to do with the image? Or, as Tamra says, was he alluding to a scandal that I don't even remember?
I think
That
it was
her
a link.
son had a dick pic drama in the press a long time ago.
I think it was a link to Ryan's dick pic. No, so what I think what happened is he reposted that from a meme account.
Yeah.
And I think he, like you said, he advertised his horrible, ill-advised dick pic merchandise.
Yeah.
And I don't think he knew about Ryan's dick pic from 10 years ago. I believe Ryan that he didn't know about that. And I was kind of like, Tamra, what the hell are you doing?
Why are
no
you
one
now bringing up something that no one remembers?
No one remembers it all. She brought it up again now.
Yeah.
She's trying to make it look worse. Like Ryan was alluding to that. I know that we have we don't really care for Ryan based off what we've seen of him, but I kind of believed him that he didn't know that deep OC lore about Tamra's son. I think that he was just hawking his shitty merch.
Yeah. I guess that's the lesson learned. Keep that on a different slide.
Don't link to that stuff.
Yeah, don't do the eggplant emoji when there's someone else on the page.
Oh, right. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I mean, it was weird that he put that camera emoji, the eggplant emoji. I don't know. Like,
it is weird.
Yeah.
And then Jen keeps being like, Eddie, like, stop this madness. Look at me. You know me. Like, can't we all just get along? And he's like, I'm not her keeper. And I'm like, you act like you are, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then Tamra goes nuclear and she goes, how about the FBI? Like, what does the FBI have to say about it? And Eddie, like, grabs her face and is like, stop.
Yeah. He is trying to be Tamra's keeper. He says,
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah. So, and then Jen goes, FBI. And Ryan goes, what the hell are you talking about, the FBI? And then Tamra tells us, she goes, I know for a fact that the FBI did a full-blown break down the door raid at Ryan's house.
I guess.
And Jen knows all about it. So she was just pretending, like, to the audience, like she had no idea about it. But he was raided by the FBI because of some of that stuff that we were talking about. Like, what was it again? Gambling?
Yeah, sports gambling. And then Tamra gets all pissed off for some reason and storms out. I think she's just wasted and doesn't want to participate anymore. And then she's like kind of breaking the fourth wall. Like, is there a car out there? Like, I'm going to leave alone. Like, she just like has to leave. And for some reason, I always thought this clip, like at the end when she leaves, she like trips out of the gate and like drops her bag. When I saw that in the previews this whole time, I've thought that was Jen, but I should have known it was Tamra, which, yeah.
Yeah, I should have known too. I also like during the fight, it was kind of sweet when they're talking about when Eddie's like, please stop talking about the FBI. It's not worth it or whatever. At one point, Matt gets him a nice blanket from the house to cover him up. And then you see him, he's mouthing to everybody else. He's like, can I get you a blanket? Can I get you a blanket? Like he was
good hosts.
He was like warming them all up while they're having this fight about, Ryan getting raided by the FBI.
Yeah. And then in his interview, Ryan is like, Tamra's miserable. Her relationship's a sham. Eddie's soft and he's unemployed. And so he goes for the gusto there. And, of course, on Watch What Happens Live, she said, she's like, we have our CBD brand. We make more in a month than you stole from that Dodger player.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She said that?
She did.
Wow. You think...
She also implied that there was some other facet outside of that podcast where Ryan called Eddie gay.
Well,
which, like, she's been out running the whole time they've been together on the show.
Well, you could imagine a world where that's what Ryan is implicating a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Not a dude, soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fucked. I hate all that shit.
Yeah, me too.
And also Megan texted us just now and said that later on Watch What Happens Live, apparently Tamra comes after Molly Sims for saying that her laser treatment is bad. So I need to go see what that was about.
Wow. Wow. Came at Molly Sims for that comment. Wow. So saying that the laser surgery is actually working out great.
Ruins your what do you call that? Skin barrier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then like you said, Tamra goes, "This guy is a piece of shit," and then she almost eats shit as she storms out of the house. So yeah, I mean, I think that it would be Tamra that would bring this FBI shit up. I'm actually surprised that she lasted this long without bringing it up.
Yeah.
I mean, she knew, and Emily knew that the FBI raided Jan and Ryan's house, and they haven't brought it up until now.
Right. And as we have been discussing with Diddy, when you get raided, it's a bad sign.
They don't raid.
They've been waiting. They've been collecting their information for a while. But so more to come on that. It is interesting that it's such a topical case, SoCal crime. But it was fun. I enjoyed the dinner, even though Eddie has very dark energy to me.
Really? Why? You? I don't know him, which is saying something for seeing someone years. For 10 seasons or however long he's been on. I feel like I do not know the real Eddie, so there's something there. Right. He does not seem.
Yeah, it seems like he doesn't like being on the show and that he would love to ditch it all and live in Big Bear or whatever. But I'm like, you are married to the most Bravo-centric woman alive. She will never shut up about any of this. She's doing podcasts every day of the week. She's on Watch What Happens Live more than anyone. She's on Jeff Lewis. She's will never stop talking and getting in trouble. So I'm the fact that he doesn't even seem particularly entertained by her antics is weird.
Yeah, I agree. There's something there. I don't feel like I have a good read on him. I'll say that Tamra is definitely doing a good job. I mean, post firing since she's been back. I mean, she's definitely justifying herself on this show. She
works hard for the money.
She really does, and sometimes she takes it a little too far. But she's propelling the story a lot this season, so I give her credit there for sure. And she wasn't as bad as you could. She wasn't as bad as she could have been at this dinner. She
left quickly. Luckily,
she could have been worse. She could have thrown a glass. She could have insulted Matt.
I think she was so drunk that she literally had to leave. You know how sometimes when you're so wasted, you're I actually cannot operate any longer.
Oh, of course I've done that. Oh, I got to leave immediately before I do anything wrong. Oh, of course. Well, good. Well, how do you feel? Did we cover that episode well enough?
I think so. I also just saw the preview for Potomac. I forgot that's coming.
Oh my God.
We're fucked.
Oh my God.
We're going to have to pick and choose here and there.
All right. Or maybe start, recapping. We don't have to recap
for 500 hours each.
Yeah, we could always dip in for 20 minutes and be a little more, strategic with the recap. So we'll see.
Only.
Yeah. We'll see about that. And I also saw, two things, and then I'm going to let you go.
Grotesquerie.
Yes. I saw a trailer and I go, what the hell is this? It looks like a Ryan Murphy show. And then
it doesn't look like it has the American Horror Story branding, despite looking exactly like American Horror Story.
Yeah, and they even have the sounds, that American Horror Story sort of soundtrack. And then I saw Travis Kelce. So Ryan Murphy loves it's very smart of him to just take the most Googled celebrity, no matter what field they're in, and just throw them in a show because he's hey, I mean, people will watch it. Kim Kardashian, Travis Kelce. I don't understand why that wouldn't be under the American Horror Story umbrella. It looked scary,
right.
Kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, I recorded the first 2 episodes, so I'll let you know.
All right, please, next week. And then the last thing I was going to say is that they showed a little clip of what the hell's that show we were watching, Salt Lake City, and Meredith does go on the trip to Milwaukee. Okay. You remember how you and I were kind of worried?
Okay, good.
Yeah, she goes, so I'm excited about that.
Good. All right. Well, I'm going to go start a steam shower for Norman the cat.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, I'll
Yeah, release
Okay.
the sinuses.
Oh, good.
And
I'll say the last stuff really quick if you want. Well, if you, for some reason, enjoyed this episode of Turtle Time and you've never left us a review and you maybe want to honor the entire legacy of Turtle Time, not just this episode, it means a lot to us to have a review from you all on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can review a podcast. It really helps. And don't just factor in this episode. Take the entire, last 6 months or so. If you've always enjoyed us, why not give us a review? We just had the new Chartable Digest come in, and it was some of the most beautiful reviews I've ever seen in my life. It was so sweet. And then, do you want me to do the Patreon too?
Sure.
Okay, and then if you were like, "Whoa, I loved the 2 hours of this episode I just listened to. Is there any way that I could get any more?" Yes. We have a Patreon, Amy and I. It's called, I don't know what the hell it's called, Turtle Time Patreon.
Villa Rosa VIPs.
And when you join us for $5 a month, you become a Villa Rosa VIP. And I mean, there are some wonderful Villa Rosa VIPs right there, right now. And we have recapped Vanderpump Rules from the very start, from season 1, episode 1. And Amy and I are now all the way up to season 5. We just did the Summer House crossover episode. That was this week, that is available now for everyone. So for $5 a month, you could potentially have access to 75 episodes that Amy and I have done in the past. So if you're bored as hell, and you have $5 that you just is burning a hole in your pocket, why not give it to Amy and I, who I swear will do a lot of good stuff with that money.
We definitely will. I would love to spend it.
So great. Okay, well, I'm going to let you go. I think of Norman fondly right now during his steam bath. And thank you all, little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs, for joining us. We'll be back next week, and we'll have a brand new episode of Patreon up on Monday.
Love y'all. Bye.
Love you all. Bye.